Because I mean, I grew up with the old style games of, it was mostly story driven. There were no cheat codes, there were no DLCs. You followed your storyline, and you had to find hints. You had puzzles within the storyline. You had to get information. The cutscenes or what the characters are saying. You had to pay attention to that. We don't get that too much anymore.
Yeah.
Morning, guys.
Hello.
We are talking about Elder Rings at the moment. John claims it to be the best game ever made. I say pshaw because you cannot play as a gonk droid.
Yeah.
But yeah, I will probably get suckered into it. I'll probably wait until Christmas till it gets marked down because I know what I'll be playing in another week or two is Star Wars Lego.
Yeah.
And I'll play through that, and that's going to take me months to finish because as little as I play video games, I mean, poor John waits for me to play Star Wars. I need to get back into that. Which this week I only have one 12-hour shift, which unfortunately is Wednesday. But then I can play in the evenings a little bit. But anyway, hey guys, thanks for joining us. We are here with Dave's Dimension and, of course, super awesome Geek Show John. And today we're going to talk about general stuff, our usual pickups for the week. Since we haven't heard Dave's reaction, Dave, have you gotten to see Batman yet?
No, this weekend.
Okay, cool.
This weekend.
And then I have, there are spoilers for possibly the Batman and Ghostbusters Afterlife. If you haven't seen Ghostbusters Afterlife by now, you suck. And you really should. So,
hey, it's on digital, so yeah.
Yeah, it's on digital. It's out in the stores. It's got this really cool box set that has all three movies, plus a digital version of the 2016 version, plus a whole bunch of other stuff in it.
Outtakes, deleted scenes that weren't included in Ghostbusters 2, which were never before released.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of new stuff, and I would definitely pick that up. That's what you miss with this digital stuff. Is
it's
you don't
not
behind the scenes stuff.
The Ultimate Collection you cannot pick up right now because it's sold out. I missed out on it, but who knows? Maybe Sony will do another run of it. They would be smart to do so.
I'm sure they will by Christmas. They'll figure out to do another run. But I have thought questions and background questions that hopefully you and your Ghostbuster buddies have either dived into or have figured out.
I saw it 2 times the day it came out.
Nice.
Wow.
So I watched it a few times, so I might be able to answer a few questions.
I've watched it I've watched it 3 or 4 times since I got it on digital. Because I've watched it with different people. I made my mom watch it, and then my roommates have watched it. My mom really loved it because she liked the original too. And then she liked the expanded version of the 2016 one, the one that had a little more plot and a little less goofiness. But hey, Rick, how you doing?
Hey, Rick.
I have got a Left Coast Graphics. I got your box. Thank you for those 2 figures, by the way. And so I've got a big video about 20 minutes long of all my Left Coast pins. That's going to hit tomorrow. Hey, John, how you doing? Kat, what's up? Everybody saying hi.
Big Keith.
Big Keith, what you doing, man?
Beautiful car,
brother.
Yeah.
And anytime anybody gives a little super chat or something like that, we always have to play a small clip. I need to get some new clips. I'm not going to go out of control like Salacious, who has I think it's 25 clips now you can choose from.
Go.
But I will have to get more. Thank you, Keith. You do not have to do that.
You need one of those with the Slimer suit running down the
I have not seen the Slimer suit one. Yeah, but Keith, what the hell, man?
Came out 3 or more years ago.
Really?
Go.
That was a friend of mine. She was we were at a convention and she ran around in that for until she basically almost passed out from the heat.
Mm-hmm.
But
true story, my sister has 3 of those suits. Her and her daughters have dressed up in it, and her one daughter works at a supermarket. We showed up on Thanksgiving. My brother and her got in the suits and just walked around Top shopping in the T-Rex outfits to pick her up from work.
I got to get more videos. I've only got the winter videos.
If you want to pop in, Mark, I did send you a link. That would be cool. I hadn't thought of that. Yeah, you're right. I got to try and figure out how to do that. Well, there was somebody running around that con in a Java version of that, which I should have gotten some video of. Yes, 2 of the 3 of us have seen Batman.
I saw Batman.
We loved it.
Yeah.
And
we were going to see this past weekend.
Get away from spoilers, Dave, or
no, you're perfectly fine. I mean, I've heard that there's a surprise character revealed.
Well,
I've heard that a lot of people have told me that this is probably the one of the best iterations of the Riddler. But I mean,
oh wow,
I'm holding my like, I'm like, well, you know, that sounds cool, but I'm gonna wait to see it because I grew up with the old Adam West.
Yeah.
To me, when I think Riddler, I think Frank Gorshin, and I also think of John Glover from the animated series.
Yeah.
Who voiced the Riddler.
Mm-hmm.
And who also is obviously Lionel Luthor from Smallville. He's an amazing actor.
Yeah.
But those are the 2. When I think Riddler, those are the voices I hear in my head.
Yeah, if you want to, John, Mark, pop on. JJ, what's up? Wow, Big Keith, that's crazy. I would love to start getting more mask stuff, but it's so expensive with boxes. I have looked at a few loose stuff recently because Mark's got me thinking about expanding my loose collection a little more. I don't really have any, but I also don't have anywhere to display it. I've now run into that problem where I'm like, oh, where am I going to put all this crap? So I'll have to figure that out. But let's start with John. Oh, cool. You will DM me so you don't have to tell anybody. I want to know.
Ooh.
I want to know what you think, Keith.
I don't care. I'm definitely seeing it regardless. My wife shocked me the other day. She asked, "Are we going to see it?" I'm like, "Yes."
I don't go to the theater much anymore. But I thought about going to see that, and I definitely will see Doctor Strange, I think. Although I haven't seen a Marvel movie in the theater since Endgame.
Yeah. I've spoken to a lot of people who are like that. But us here, where I live in Grand Island, right between Buffalo and Niagara Falls, we have a small Home Depot plaza that has a theater. Theater's never packed, so that's why we always go there. So, you know, especially with the pandemic, you're not dealing with...
There's nobody at our theaters. Like,
hey, Darth Rock. Thanks for popping on Twitter, man. I don't have a lot of stuff over there.
He's on Twitch.
Twitter.
We're on...
It's all tease.
I have the Regal Club because I got the deal when they were doing like 3 months for $20 or whatever that deal was. And so I'm still in it. And I went to see Batman. So essentially you get to see all the movies for free for those 3 months for that initial $20 fee. So I've been going a lot. And that Regal Theater, when I went to see Batman, there was like 2 other people in it. There was nobody in the theater. So, and they have the big comfy chairs with the recliner and
we still have the regular chairs at the
little table. You got a little table you can fold out, and it's got cup holders and everything. So I'm like, it's a posh theater and no one's in it. Like there's nothing. I'm like, this is crazy.
Our AMC theaters are like that.
Rolando's right. If I don't go see it the day it comes out, I don't generally see it. Not because it's crowded or anything. I'm back to working 6 days a week. And then I do this on Friday mornings. And sometimes I think about doing stuff Friday afternoon. And then I'm like, now I got to go to the grocery store. I need to do this.
It's your day to do everything. So
it's my day to run around. So, and if I have Thursdays off, that's the day I toy hunt now. So
when I do go to an actual theater, I have to go for the very first showing. If they had showings at 7 or 8 a.m., I'd be there for the 7 a.m. showing. But it's like
during the summer, our theaters do 9 a.m. shows.
Yeah, the earliest this one does it is like 10 or 10:30, and those are generally only for the biggest movies. If it's a normal run-of-the-mill film, they won't even start till 11 or 11:30.
Hello.
Mark.
You know,
Hey, Mark.
you may think that's cool that he's all suited up. As a ghost, it's triggering to me that he's sitting there in uniform with a proton thrower right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's triggering.
Well, I like your shirt,
ready.
Chris. I like the Herculoids myself. So
Teespring had a sale a couple weeks ago. In fact, they're having one now where most shirts are $13. I got a whole bunch of new Hanna-Barbera shirts.
oh, I love the Herculoids. It's one of my favorite shows.
Well, and they have, usually, I got Herculoids and I got Jabberjaw and I got Clue Club and I got a whole bunch of random stuff I love, but nobody else knows.
Two of my absolute favorite shows were Herculoids and then Thundar the Barbarian.
Barbarian. Yep.
Yeah, because
I got a couple of those shirts too.
I love the Thundar especially because I love the idea that they went back to barbarian times, but it's in the future.
Apocalyptic, yeah.
Yeah, it's after a post-apocalyptic world, because he'll run across stuff like the sign for Los Angeles, like if someone's using it as a shield, or something. And it's like, whoa.
Well, since Big Keith asked, and he usually can't hang around for very long, let's start with John real quick. What did you think of the Obi-Wan trailer?
Oh, I loved it. I thought the Obi-Wan trailer was great. I like how they showed. I mean, we got to see 12 different angles of Ewan McGregor's face as Obi-Wan. It was like close up on Obi-Wan, close up on Obi-Wan, close up on Obi-Wan, close up on Obi-Wan, close up on his beard. It was like, I was like, wow, why are they doing so many shots of just his face reacting to things? Ooh, wow, But what I thought was great about it was the music kicked in. The music had me going. I got to see a lot of characters in the background that I knew. We all knew Inquisitors were going to be in it because Obi-Wan needed someone to actually cut down during the battle, during a saber battle, and he's not going to chop Vader in half. So,
again,
so we all knew that there had to be some Inquisitors for him to chop in half, but I didn't really think that they were going to tie it into like a actual hunt. This is almost sounding like it's what I've been wanting for a long time. I always said I think one of the greatest stories never told is Darth Vader hunting down and destroying the Jedi Knights. Because we have that line, Obi-Wan says it. He says Darth Vader hunted down and destroyed the Jedi Knights. And it's like, well, we've never seen that. We saw him storm the Jedi Temple, but all the ones that got away that are out there scattered around the galaxy, we never get to see. I mean, there's been some in comic books that Vader's hunted down, but not on screen. I don't care if it's animated or live action or what, but I want to see it on screen. I want to watch Vader hunting down and killing Jedi Knights. So this sounds like they're talking about some more of that lore in the way they presented that trailer, that this is the time that Darth Vader was hunting down and destroying the Jedi Knights. And so, I mean, maybe we can hope for that. Maybe this Obi-Wan series is more of a Darth Vader series, and we're going to see him in like the first couple episodes actually chop down a couple Jedi. You know what I mean? And then they'll move into the Obi-Wan story. I don't know, but it's like I can dream, right?
Yeah. Dave, what do you think?
I loved it. There's one thing missing. He didn't say hello there.
No.
But no, I love. I mean, I've seen a lot of people.
Tweet.
Huh?
That was the page's first tweet.
Yeah, hello there. But no, I loved it. I loved that. A lot. I've heard some people. I've seen some people on social media. Oh, how come we don't see him fighting with the saber? He's trying to lay low. I love that. He's. He could outwardly pull out the saber and do some fighting. No, he's trying to lay low because it's his mission to watch over Luke. Yeah. I love we see Luke kind of on the top of the doorway to the house, and he's just like pretending to be a starfighter. I'm like,
with these dust goggles on.
Yeah, I mean, the trailer was hitting all the notes. It said that this is a limited series, that this might be just a one-off. I'm hoping it leads to more. I mean, that's the hope. We can all have hope. I love that we saw the Inquisitor's fortress.
Yeah.
The one Inquisitor, I mean, yeah, he looks a little off. You know,
They
he looks
both
like
look
he's
weird. The fifth brother looked odd too. The fifth brother looked strange as well.
I mean, the one looked like what was the term I used? He looked like the bastard love child of Quan Chi from Mortal Kombat. You know, with he looked a little off. But I mean, you know, yeah, we're not going to get perfect identical to what we see in the comics or the cartoons.
Well,
we're not going to get that.
coming out
People
for
get over
Rebels.
it.
And even
Yeah.
Vader doesn't look like Vader in Rebels.
Yeah.
I did read that
Look at
James Earl
Dooku
Jones
in
is back
Clone
to do
Wars.
the voice.
What?
James Earl Jones is back to do the voice of Vader.
Oh, for Vader, yeah.
So I'm psyched about that, and it's
He's
cool
not
that's
dead yet. I thought he
No,
died. I
hey.
thought he died. I thought that James Earl Jones had already died twice.
no.
Like during the filming of that last Hunt for the Red October movie. What was it? The ones with Harrison Ford where he was playing that Ryan guy.
I know what you're talking about.
During the last film,
The Jack Ryan movie.
I seriously heard that during the filming of this film, James Earl Jones was hospitalized and passed away. I remember hearing that on the television and seeing like all these newspaper articles about it. And my brother
he
and I
appeared in
going,
the sequel
"Crap,
to
Darth
Coming
Vader
to
died."
America last year.
Yeah, I know.
He died in that.
sequel,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he was back alive again. And then like a few years later, like 4 or 5 years ago, I heard, "Oh, James Earl Jones has passed away." And I was
It's
like,
gonna
"Oh,
be a
crap, we
dark
lost
day.
Darth
It's gonna be
Vader."
it's gonna be a sad day when he passes. Because I mean, think
He
of
went into the
Conan.
back. It's okay.
I mean, he's done
Got
everything
better.
Yeah.
from Conan the Barbarian.
Oh, I loved that.
I
Yeah.
mean, just Sneakers. I mean,
Yeah.
he's done so many different movies over the years and plays and just.
But I
He's
think
the voice.
as far as the actors go, like it like we never complain. I don't understand the Star Wars community in a sense. Like there's parts of it that I just don't understand. Cuz like when we see a like a live action actor
Yeah.
appear in animation, we never make that complaint. We never go, "Oh, they don't look like the actor." Because like holiday special Star Wars, when they made that short with Boba Fett, where they introduced
Yeah.
Boba Fett,
The
that's
animated
super
Boba Fett, yeah.
stylized. Yeah, that animated thing, that's super
Han
stylized.
Solo in that.
Yeah, Han Solo, Chewie, R2-3PO, none of them look like the real thing.
Nope.
The droids cartoon, R2 doesn't bend in half like that, you know,
Yeah.
but he does in the cartoon when he's you know, and you don't hear people complaining about that. But whenever it goes the other direction, something animated comes to live action, there's always a portion of the community that just flips out and goes nuts because it doesn't look the same.
Ghostbuster communities is just as, I don't want to say as bad, but they are.
Really?
I mean, one thing gets out of sorts, like Afterlife came out. There was a lot of criticisms. Oh, there's going to be kids. In the real Ghostbusters cartoon, they had junior Ghostbusters in the series. I mean, there a little weird tidbit. Ernie Hudson auditioned for the voice of Winston in the animated series, was turned down. He played him in the damn movie, but he was turned down.
Arsenio Hall needed something to do.
And then Arsenio Hall only lasted so many seasons. Then they got someone else to do it. So,
wow.
Mark, what do you think of the trailer?
It's surprising what John said because I was talking to somebody this morning about it, and they're saying there wasn't enough Obi-Wan, and there was too many Inquisitors in it. So it's a matter of perspective, isn't it? I'm talking about the Grand Inquisitor. It was a bit off for me at the beginning, but now I'm thinking. Look at Count Dooku in Clone Wars. How long his face was compared to Christopher Lee. So they're obviously not going to get it spot on, are they?
Have we been told who's been cast as the Grand Inquisitor? Is Jason Isaac back?
No, it's some Guest, is it? And Guest.
Christopher Guest?
Something. It is. I forgot what.
That's the only one I can think of named Guest.
He has been named. Yeah,
that'd be crazy to waste him in that role.
But Isaacs is awesome. He's an awesome guy.
Yeah.
They don't look. But we've seen barely anything of it. People are trashing this entire
trailer.
series in a minute and 40 second
Yeah.
thing. My question is, okay, so clearly Owen runs into one of the Inquisitors and then does something and then tries to get away because he gets cornered in the back and she lights her saber. So, that's probably why Owen's pissed about Obi-Wan, is because now the Inquisitors are on Tatooine looking for Luke.
Rupert Friend. That's what I'm thinking of.
I don't know who that is.
Yeah, I didn't try to speculate based on the trailer how. I was wondering if Owen Lars was off world during that. I would, because they showed a number of different off world planets that were definitely not Tatooine.
Yeah, we already know what those are. That's Obi-Wan who goes there. Owen doesn't leave Tatooine.
So where you think where Owen is cornered, it's still on Tatooine?
Yeah, it's in Mos Eisley.
Because my only issue with that,
Boba Fett.
My only issue with that is that then if the Inquisitor found Luke and Obi-Wan and them on Tatooine, then she must die before she gets to tell Vader. Because Vader has no idea that Luke and Obi-Wan are on Tatooine, and
I think a Jedi's coming to see Obi-Wan.
We don't know that Vader doesn't know that Obi-Wan's there. We also don't know that Vader doesn't know about Luke.
Yeah, we do, because he knows
after him. After
he
was in the comics, wasn't it? He found out in the comics.
The son of Skywalker must perish.
Yeah, but he doesn't know where he is. He doesn't know what planet.
Don't know that.
If Vader knew where Luke was, he would have come after him earlier.
Why?
And he tried to get him to join the dark side or whatever.
Instead
of waiting until he was a teenager and waiting for him to stumble into this adventure. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't buy it.
You can't think of it through A New Hope's
perspective.
You have to look at it through the extended universe view. And in the comics, when Boba Fett tells Vader about Luke, he clearly already knows about Luke, that he survived. Now, it's not spelled out 100%, but because we don't know, you can't speculate and say he doesn't know.
Well, he might know that he's alive. He doesn't know where he is what I'm trying to say.
Maybe.
Because otherwise he would have went for him. Just like he didn't know that until until Return of the Jedi, that Leia was Luke's sister. You know what I mean? Like, you hear him during that battle going, well, you have a twin sister. Oh, you know what I mean? Like, your feelings betray her too, So it's like, if Vader knew that Luke existed, he didn't know where he was. And you can't, in my opinion, you shouldn't change that. Otherwise you're going to have to do all this explaining as to why he's let him sit there for 20 odd years. You know what I mean? Like,
18 years.
It's just like,
what good's an 8-year-old to him?
What good is any 6 or 8-year-old? The Jedi habitually took everyone when they were 5 or 6 years old.
No,
what good is anyone at that age?
The Clone Wars told us that they went and got kids when they were 3 or 4 years old.
So what good is that? So I mean it's the same thing.
The same way that it was, what use were those fucking kids in the Jedi Temple?
Yeah,
that Yoda was teaching. You take them and you change their minds so that they don't care
indoctrinate them. Yeah.
They're brainwashing these children. The Jedi are evil.
So exactly. So Vader would have taken Luke the moment he learned about him to brainwash him and raise him as a Sith.
Part of the Empire. We've been shown throughout the new EU that Vader doesn't necessarily want to be part of the Empire. He feels stuck there. Maybe if he knew about Luke, which we'll find out in this show, that he didn't want him to be part of it. And then once he's been brought into the rebellion and the Emperor knows about him, the Emperor doesn't know about Luke. We know that. But I don't think you can say that Vader at this point, until Obi-Wan is over, that he doesn't know about Luke.
Yeah.
How quickly did Maul find him?
I just think that if Vader, knew where Obi-Wan and Luke were and knew they were alive, he would stop at nothing to continually go after them. And then the entire time that Obi-Wan was sitting there, he'd be fighting off guys constantly, like every couple months. And it would be this nonstop, which is why I think the show is going off-world, because I think if any of the Inquisitors find out, Obi-Wan hunts after them and kills them before they can report to Vader and the Emperor as to their whereabouts. Because
I was almost thinking that maybe Obi-Wan goes off-world to try and draw the Inquisitors away to get them off Luke's trail. That's the thought I had.
Yeah, exactly. And then kills them before they can report to Vader. Yeah. Because that's why this new girl's in it. The new girl's in it just so she can die.
He can't.
You know what I mean?
They die in Rebels.
Not the new girl, not the black girl.
Huh?
The black girl doesn't die in Rebels. She's the new character.
We don't know about.
Yeah, then she's going to die in this show. That's why she's there.
We don't know her name yet.
I know, but that's why she's there, so she can die in this show. Because Obi-Wan's going to have to do a lightsaber battle and cut somebody down, and it can't be the fifth brother, because we know what happens to the fifth brother. It can't be the Grand Inquisitor, because we know what happens to the Grand Inquisitor. So they had to make another Inquisitor for this show, so Obi-Wan has someone to kill and fight off. And have
there
a good lightsaber battle.
There were always 5 Inquisitors we never saw.
Oh, yeah. There were plenty of them, yeah. They're supposedly like 12 or 13. There's supposedly like 12 or 13 Inquisitors. So we got plenty we haven't seen. They can even have 2 or 3 new ones in the show and have a really good fight with like 5 or 6. You know, it could be Vader and like 4 or 5 Inquisitors, and Obi-Wan kills 2 or 3 of them, and the fifth brother, the Grand Inquisitor, and Vader get away somehow. You know what I mean? Or, you know, it's like we could have an amazing lightsaber battle with like all kinds of stuff going on.
Speaking of Inquisitors, could we see Cal Kestis maybe come in at some point?
I don't know.
I think it'd be a bit of a stretch.
Well, we don't specifically know when this is set because of the look of Luke. He looks
maybe 8 or 9
older than his Rebels counterpart.
Yeah, he does look older than Rebels. Yeah.
However, Obi-Wan found some Just for Men and colored his hair in between Clone Wars. Why isn't anybody all pissed that Obi-Wan's hair isn't gray?
Yeah.
Oh, in Rebels we saw it was gray, and now it's not gray. Well, the Force works in mysterious ways.
So she's the third sister.
It's the Sands of Tatooine.
Yeah, Inquisitor Reva. Inquisitor Reva, the third sister.
Okay. Yeah, I have no doubt she'll die because she's the new character. And
I've heard people say that character was put in there so Obi-Wan can strike her down, just so we have something.
Yeah,
exactly. They're not going to kill a main person; they're going to hit the lower echelon hench person.
Yeah.
I do think I pointed this out somewhere on Twitter, and I don't know if anybody got mad at me or not. I love how they're shoehorning women all over the place in the Empire, whether they're on starships or they're, Inquisitors or they're whatever, and then all of a sudden for 3 films, all women disappear in the Empire. They need to go back and make
pretty much
editions where there are just women Imperial people walking around in the background and
they run off with all the K2SOs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
well, it wasn't really set by Lucas or anybody on set. Wasn't that actually a weird accidental thing? Because when they cast it at Elstree Studios, no women. It just happened that no women showed up, right?
That's what I'd heard is that they just, and then they were like, well, we really only need like 30 or 40 guys, and they used the same guy
over and over again.
Basically. Yeah.
So it wasn't a plan to make the Empire look like it was all men. It was just when they did those shots, those were the only people who showed up. No,
it wasn't necessarily a plan to make them look all Caucasian men.
No,
we didn't have anyone of any other races. No one of Asian descent or Middle Eastern. We never had any other races. It just happened to be that's how it was casted. But people read too much into it sometimes.
Those are the only people who showed up. So it was like they said we need 30 people. 30 people showed up and they used them all. And it's like if someone had shown up who was
a rebellion.
What?
There's only one woman in the rebellion as well.
Yeah.
There's only one woman in the 3 movies except for Mon Mothra.
Yeah.
You know, and a couple fighter pilots we saw in cutscenes, and then a whole bunch of the Ewoks, who of course were wearing masks. But you know, I just think it's funny that all of a sudden they're just going to disappear. You know, for 3 films. Exactly, all stormtroopers are chicks. They went from clones to women.
I'm not saying it. Not saying it.
Yeah. But
well, and it's the same thing with aliens too. I thought I read somewhere that originally was not the plan, but then somewhere between like the making of Empire Strikes Back or whatever, they went, yeah, we didn't actually put anyone in an alien costume when we were doing the shots for the Empire, because during Star Wars we used all that effects budget on the cantina. So we just made them all people, but it wasn't the idea back then that the Emperor himself had a distaste for the aliens. That came later. Someone thought that up, like, let's just do that, like during Empire or whatever.
Trilogy, he's surrounded himself with aliens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're his most trusted people.
Yeah.
Which I never understood that in there either, is that was their way of it was their way of trying to say that the Empire were Nazis. And that they were a drop-in for the Nazis, and they're horrible, evil people who they're xenophobic. They're trying to conquer the world and make everybody human. Well, that the prequel showed us that's not at all true. And then, of course, the sequel trilogy kind of fell back to that. Yeah. And there's not any aliens really in the First Order at all.
Well, they were trying to, I think with the sequels, like between like the Clone Wars and stuff especially, tried to fill it out, where you can see where the distrust of aliens starts to come in Chancellor Palpatine, you know, in the way that Sidious is doing stuff, because he constantly relies on these alien species to do stuff, and they screw it up all the time. And then eventually you're supposed to believe that by the time he gets into like Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back, he's fully gotten rid of all the alien races from his, and he only sticks to that because of his experiences throughout the prequels and the Clone Wars and what happened. And that's also why he distrusts droids by the time you get to then too. By the time you get to Empire Strikes Back,
didn't trust the clones anymore.
Yeah, Salacious was doing a stream the other day when it dawned on him that the fact that nobody likes droids is because of the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
It's like, well, yeah, but not back then. Back then, we didn't even know what the Clone Wars were, and neither did George.
Yeah.
Now it makes complete sense that maybe Wooler was on some planet that was overrun by the Droid Federation, and that's why he hates droids. In old EU, it's because his boss hated droids.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I thought it was good. I have now taken a stance of I'm not judging any new series or movies specifically on a 2-minute clip.
Oh, no. No.
You can now see why they say they brought John Williams back, because it looks like he's retooling the music. Yeah. So
is he really back, or are they just
someone
editing his music?
Right.
He recorded it all.
Theme.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. So,
because sometimes I wonder with that stuff, because like if you use the music that he created, he has to get the credit. So he'll be in the credits as the guy who created the music. But does that actually mean he's working on that, or they just reusing it?
They said he's really doing it.
Yeah,
he is making the main theme. Now, if they use his stuff for incidental music, then it says themes by. In the it says
or inspired by or something,
whatever,
like
or and themes by. Kind of just the same way you have to put Lucas on everything.
Yeah.
No, based on characters created by George Lucas.
Based on characters, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, Star Trek theme.
Yeah. What did you pick up this week? Anything?
I'll get some credit for that.
You buy anything?
Speaking of, sorry, what was that, Chris?
You buy anything this week?
Oh yeah, I got some stuff. But real quick, I saw someone in there. Jonathan was saying people take Lucas 100% fact. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get at. When Lucas started making the films, even to like the time he went into Empire and Jedi, he had changed his mind on a number of things.
He contradicts himself all the time.
Yeah, including this alien race thing. During Star Wars, it was a production issue. It was cost, money. And then by the time Empire, someone suggested, well, what if he didn't like aliens and that's why? And he went, oh, that's a great idea. Yeah, let's do that. So the creator of these shows, not only just Star Wars, but all genres, all shows, the creators themselves change their minds and change ideas as things go along. So yeah, you can't just take it 100% like the way that people want to. And then the other thing is, someone mentioned Picard. I loved that first episode of Star Trek. I don't know if the second one's out, but
yes, it is.
I just watched it now.
When
Picard,
the Borg,
Fantastic.
when this new version of the
Mark,
Borg
I just
showed
watched it
up,
for the stream too.
Brilliant.
yeah, I was like, holy crap, I am all in on this. I was like, and then they showed a preview for upcoming, and they have the Borg Queen coming back and all this stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Oh,
yes,
she's back.
Q made it a home run.
This Picard show has got me hooked. I am just, oh my gosh, right in from the first episode.
Yes.
I'm like all there. Yes.
Nope.
Well, wait till you see the second episode.
It's out. It's out. All right, I'll have to go watch it.
Just
later
watched
today.
it now.
I'll
Yeah,
never watch it.
Absolutely
Somebody is
fabulous.
kind enough to cut the qubits out so I can watch them on YouTube, but I will not support this bastardization of Star Trek. Yeah.
What bastardization?
Chris.
It's horrible. If you watch,
What have you just said? What have you just said about not?
I watched 3 episodes of Picard season 1. It was shit. I watched a season.
This is not season 1. This is season 2. They have fixed everything from season 1.
Some of Lower Decks. It's crap. I've tried to watch that stupid.
Lower Decks is fantastic.
Yeah, Lower Decks is funny. It's hilarious.
It's brilliant in Lower Decks.
It's a cartoon that makes fun of itself.
Yeah.
That's great.
Of Star Trek, and I don't like it.
That's okay. You don't have to like it. That's fine.
I don't have to like it. I don't have to watch it.
Yeah, no.
Q bits, because Q knows what the fuck is going on and knows that it's not Star Trek. And I wish he'd fix things, but he's not going to. I don't watch the JJ verse stuff.
This isn't JJ verse though.
Oh, it's not JJ verse.
Yeah, it's not.
Yes, it is.
By the way,
Original
Chris,
timeline. Nice.
Yeah, this is.
Chris, did
This
you
is
hear
taking place
that
after.
they're doing a 4th Star Trek movie based on the JJ?
Of
Oh
course,
no, really?
these series are all based on JJ. They had to be by contract.
Well,
They
no,
25% different than the original timeline by contract.
Chris Pine Star Trek. They're making a 4th movie of it.
Split.
The Chris Pine Star Trek. They're making a 4th movie of it.
I know.
Yeah. I'm
It's
shocked at that.
Watch
Yeah.
it.
No, I like it. I like it, mate.
I think Picard
Come on,
takes
Dr.
off.
McCoy, please. Let's have
I
a Dr.
personally
McCoy
think,
movie.
based on watching Picard season 1 and watching this first episode of season 2,
Yeah, they fixed everything. from season.
Picard is taking off from where Next Generation left off, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no JJ verse in it at all, as far as I'm concerned. I
No, 'cause
I
it's not-
watched the
It's
whole
not Bad
thing.
Robot that's doing it, so it's not JJ verse.
Yeah, I watched the whole thing.
There's influences though.
I'm not
There are
arguing
some
this.
subtle influences.
It's what Viacom and CBS have already said. So I'm not arguing this point.
It's
Well, then
Paramount.
they didn't watch the show.
25% different.
Paramount.
They didn't watch the show then because they don't know what they have on in their own repertoire, or whatever you want to say. Because if you watch the show, you know that
They
it's related
show the old
to,
ships.
Yeah, you know it's
Original
related to Next Generation, not the JJ verse. So whatever.
All
Whatever.
of Discovery is JJ verse.
Discovery's in its own world. It's
No,
not
it's not.
JJ or
Very
Star
much.
Trek.
It's got a lot of
I
influence
watched
from
it
the
over
J.J. Abrams.
References forward.
Look at the Klingons. Those aren't
It
Klingons
doesn't
in any
matter.
verse.
As far as they're concerned, that's all this new Trek, and it's all part of that universe. It's not a follow-on.
This is Kurtzman, which is not saying much,
Like
but
this- like
it's Kurtzman's Trek, not JJ's Trek.
the newest episode of Picard, Q tries to say it's something that happened in 2024 in Los Angeles. That created the mirror universe, apparently, which is a bunch of bullshit.
It's not.
We already know what created the mirror.
It's not a mirror universe.
We were shown that in Enterprise. We already know what created it. World War III happened in 2 years. So in 2026, World War III happens. We've already had the eugenics wars, which were from 96 to 98
God.
with
Yeah.
Khan. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, that mostly happened in North Africa and parts of the Middle East where that war was. It killed 35, 36 million people. The limited nuclear exchange that they talk about in First Contact takes place in 2026. And so that takes place in 2 years. So whatever Picard does in 2024 in this new series that supposedly creates the mirror, stops the creation of the mirror universe, which wouldn't that screw a lot of Star Trek history up? It doesn't matter because in 2 years, Los Angeles is a hole in the ground because of a nuclear exchange.
Chris, just watch it for Q.
No.
Just watch it for Q. I tell you, his performance in this episode 2 is by far beats anything.
Of course,
he doesn't need to watch it.
Unbelievable.
If he doesn't like it, he doesn't need to watch it. Just
I've already.
Oh no, but I'm saying you need to watch it for Q. He's just fantastic.
No,
he's supposed to be in 6 of the episodes, by the way, Mark.
They cut the Q-bits out for me on YouTube. I've already seen his performance. John Delancey is always wonderful as Q. Always.
He's personally, I think he's awesome in anything. I mean, he's had some recurring parts in like Stargates and
great in Days of Our Lives.
Yeah.
You know,
but
for years, I just won't. I'm just not gonna. I love the way they shoehorned DS9 and Martok and stuff like that, and it's like
Gul Dukat, yeah,
he personally killed Gul Dukat and he personally killed General Martok, and now they've made Picard to be this super warrior who every time the camera goes back to him, I'm like, holy crap, that guy's old. Wow. I mean, why did they not give him a robot body that looked better?
They could have de-aged him.
They could have.
I mean, they de-aged John Delancey for a couple seconds.
I was going to say
that old. It's almost like Picard. They deliberately make up him or something to make him look super old.
Yeah, I think they have because even his acting is acting. He's not like himself. He's not like Patrick Stewart. He's acting as an older Picard.
Weaker
weaker. His voice is weaker.
Why? He's a robot now.
Yeah, but he's 100 years old.
He's less than 6 months old. He's a robot. If that warranty is already worn out, they need to do a little better work on that.
Well, they made modifications that he wouldn't be stronger. He would be exactly how his human body was.
Why? What is the point of being a robot then? If you're not,
he's not immortal. He's not immortal either. It's not like he's going to live for 1,000 years. He will eventually.
Well, that's a giant plot hole kind of mess.
Because they didn't want to give him godlike mentalities or that was the whole thing.
The Noonien soon seem to live forever. They've been around since Enterprise, and now
now they're in the new series.
Yep.
Always look like Brent Spiner.
Brent is back as another Soon. He'll be back as another Soon now.
Yeah. I don't know. I'll give the new series that the Christopher Pike series. I'll give that 2 or 3 episodes of a chance too. But I don't like the JJ years. I don't like the changes they've made to the Federation. I don't like how, especially in Picard, I don't like how they treated him. Like he was some sort of pariah. That how dare you demand that we help the Romulans? Let them help themselves. They're the Romulan Star Empire. Let them hire some Klingons and Ferengi to come save them.
Let them die.
Let them die. I mean, you shouldn't have blown up that stupid planet in the first place, but you had to because it was already canon in the JJ verse. Peacekeeper. He'd be great. But anyway, John, what'd you buy?
All right, we're gonna go into that.
Well, yeah, it's been an hour.
Yeah. Okay. So the latest pickups.
Ghostbusters.
I have an extra bat. If anyone needs a bat out there.
Oh, cool.
I got an extra. So if anyone needs it, hit me up. But my recent pickups, modern first, I guess. I got I got 3 of the hand ninjas. Okay. And they come in these little boxes so that they're from Pulse. Cool. And they're really done good. They're really well done figures, and you get a nice sword and a couple of other bits, extra hands.
But they all
And-
look identical.
Yeah, they're troop builders. They're like the $14.99 ones you get off Hasbro Pulse.
Yeah.
That's why they come in these little boxes, because they're cheap. But what's fascinating to me now is for $14.99 we can get these little cheap boxes, and they come with like 18 weapons and 4 extra hands and extra heads, and it's like, but the $25 figures or $35 figures you buy in the window box can't have any accessories at all, or they come with a cup. You know,
If that's the way, give me a damn cardboard box all day long.
yeah,
Come on.
yeah,
Well,
do it like
I don't
this
think
all the
that's not the
time.
way it's going, because they've already switched over the Power Rangers Lightning collection to that. It's
Yeah.
starting to switch over to just cardboard boxes. So I wonder if Star Wars and Marvel Legends will flip to that.
They will eventually. Transformers did also. They're only
If they
now
can
they're
lower
just
the
cardboard
cost, then
boxes. Yeah.
I say all for it.
But
Yeah.
so now
I'd still like
vintage
the window to
pickups.
see the figure.
Vintage pickups. I got a Starcom
Nice.
ship in the box.
Box
So
looks
that's
really good
cool.
too.
Yeah, it's not bad.
For the age, I mean, you're talking what, 30 more, 30,
Pretty cool
maybe
vehicle.
35 years
So I
old.
can't wait to do a video on that. The Star Wolf, really cool. I got my first Captain Power action figure.
Oh,
Beautiful. That's a nice card.
Corporal Pilot Chase. After talking with these with Geekstrong last weekend, I was just looking around and someone had one. They were like, "Oh, I'll sell you one for $10. I got this girl I don't need." And they shipped it to me. They didn't even want shipping on top. So it's like, well, for $10, I'll take it. Sure, why not? You know, like
Yeah.
I was like, I have no idea how much these normally are, but I was like, I'll give you $10 for that. Sure.
Usually
And,
at least 20, 30, but that card's nice enough. You probably could get 35, 40 for it.
Yeah. So I'll probably get more figures. I'm interested in the figures now, at least, if not the vehicles.
or if you
And
find a
then,
completionist, crank it up a little bit more.
And then I got this bad boy, which I can't wait to do a video on.
Oh.
The Night Raven
Nice.
from G.I. Joe. And
That-
it is
100%.
this thing is freaking well. It's supposed to have a little black thing that fits right over this part right here, and it goes in that hole like a.
Wonder
It looks
if you
like a
could find
screen.
someone to 3D print that for you.
It looks like a screen. Can you see these?
Yeah.
I don't think you can see how they're. These things in the back, these
Like
flaps,
like a mesh, yeah.
it's a mesh. They have holes in them. Yeah,
Yeah,
there you go.
I
See,
can see that.
so it's the same kind of mesh
Okay.
that's supposed to go over the gun here.
Yeah, I swear,
that's-
if you get someone who's good enough, they could probably 3D,
And it only
design their
really
place and 3D
covers,
print it.
it only really covers this little square. It doesn't cover the barrels, and it doesn't cover this lever so you can pull it up. You
It's
know?
more like something to hold it in place, basically.
So it's just a little tiny thing that goes on there.
Oh, no wonder that fell off.
But that looks fantastic, though.
Yeah, and it has a
It doesn't look the plastic doesn't look too faded. It looks
no.
still
It's
pretty good for the
actually
most part.
shiny and
Yeah,
new.
really
It's
good.
shiny
Yeah.
and new and perfect. Yeah.
So
So this
definitely-
this comes
cockpit.
down.
Yeah, so you can load the characters in. Yeah.
Yeah. And then it's got a missile bay here that shoots out
Oh.
missiles.
I forgot about that.
And then these cool missiles on the sides.
Landing gear works.
The landing gear come down. So that's cool.
They don't make toys like that anymore, do they?
No, I mean, this thing is awesome. Incredible. It's really cool, yeah. And of course, the flight pod thing comes off. And
You have gotten so much cool Joe stuff recently.
yeah, I've been building it up because my brother had this when we were kids. And he had the Sky Striker when we were kids.
Nice.
And the Sky Striker's done thanks to Scuba Pete and Kokomo Toys in Indiana. They basically, between the two of them, were able to send me all the parts. Scuba Pete sent me a second body for the Sky Striker that was totally white, and I just had to clean it up and put new stickers on it. And he sent me a new sticker sheet to do that. And then Kokomo sent me the wings that go up and down. What are those things called on the back of planes? The wings that
The
go
flaps.
vertically. Yeah,
Flaps.
they're not flap. Whatever. Yeah, and some missiles and extra the seats to go in it. So
Okay.
yeah, so it was like, and that was like a surprise. I just
No.
got a box in the mail one day, opened it up, and it said, "John, we love your channel. This is a gift from Kokomo Toys. We saw you needed these parts, so here's some parts. Hopefully this helps." And they gave me a huge card. It must be in the other room, like that shows pictures of their store.
Did you go for the new Sky Striker through Haslam?
No, because I want the vintage one.
I didn't know. Maybe you wanted both. Do a comparison.
Nah, that's the exact same thing. I don't need it. Not for that price. No way. Building, I'll tell you. Well, because Kokomo gave me a lot of parts and Scuba was helping out. I mean, building this thing cost me less than $100. So it's like,
I know she does that.
I think you could get a complete vintage one for less than $200. So, and you're going to spend $230 on the new one. I don't know. The only thing that really got me were those figures.
Yeah, it comes with what, 3 figures and a whole bunch of.
Oh, you get about 10 figures. If I don't know how far it went, but if it went all the way through its through all the add-ons, like what do they call it? Extension goals, or I don't know what they call those things.
Stretch goals, yeah.
If you had gone all the way through all the stretch goals, that's it, stretch goals, there was about 10 action figures on card that you would have got by the time you're done. Because you get deck crew for the flag. There was like 3 or 4. There was 3 or 4 deck crews. There's you get the Ace, the pilot, you get Scarlet as a pilot, and then they had a whole bunch of Cobra guys you could get, and they had a Cobra pilot because they were also had a way that in another sticker sheet so that you could alter the
Cobra
takeover to be a Cobra one. Yeah.
Yeah,
So you got all the Cobra figures as well. So
that Cobra takeover really pushed it, though. They really helped it along the way. So
yeah. So yeah, you could. I think by the time you were done, you could end up with about 10 figures. That's what would have made me want it more than the actual ship itself. But no, I didn't go for it.
Dave, did you pick up anything this week?
Oh yeah, I kind of dipped back into McFarlane. Bought a bunch of the. I got the Red Hood.
Nice.
The 3 Jokers. The 3 Jokers Red Hood. I got the Bat Cycle from Curse of the White Knight, but I'm actually going to be taking it apart and modding it so it can be a cycle for the Red Hood. I'm going to get some. In fact, later on today, I'm picking up some paints from Auto Part Place. So I think I have the right kind of chrome and red. I'm going to try and take it apart, layer it. So been doing that. I picked up the Batgirl from 3 Hoods, or from the 3 Jokers. Just dipping back into the DC McFarlane because I mean we can find them in stores.
Yeah.
And they're at $19.99 for the most part. Some of the larger ones are $24, but still, I mean that's still a lot better than paying $26, $27 for a figure that has no accessories, Hasbro. Or like some of the Star Wars figures are going up to $30.
Yeah, $32.99 for the
last one. And honestly, there has been a whole lot that's really gotten me excited. Plus, you come off 1 or 2 things that you're really interested in. No, but you got to wait about 10 months for it.
Yeah.
And odds are, you do a pre-order, you might find it in the store sooner than the pre-order. So, but
for cheaper.
Yeah. But
I could go and let Mark buy it at Smith's and send it to us.
But I did get a few of the retro card Spideys.
Cool.
I got Ben Reilly, who's always been a favorite of mine.
Yep.
I got him. I have Shocker. I have Hobgoblin. I got the Spider-Man Mark 1 armor, and I got this yesterday.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
I just picked up an extra one of those today for Shabby's brother Cy, because he couldn't find
those
it.
here.
Yeah,
you can't find those here. I looked out with the Ben Reilly. Apparently, a couple of my targets had like 6 or 8 of them. So the Ben Reillys are popping up. I do want to take the hand off and take the web shooter and hit it with some chrome to make it look a little bit more silver, more chrome like. But yeah, I got my hands on those. Bunch of the figures I've been finding out of state. But But I still have I still got a ton of figures I need to do unboxes of. Like I got the whole Multiverse of Madness wave. So I'll be doing the build a figure with that one. But yeah, I mean it's been kind of touch and go with some of the figures, but that's why I'm kind of dipping back into McFarlane. But also I've been finding some deals on McFarlane either between Amazon or a few other places. Finding them like 14, on sale with a coupon. Maybe Target still has that one deal, but half the stuff I can't find in stock.
Yeah,
I was going to get the Batman. I was going to get the Batman figure, even though I didn't see the movie. I was going to get it just for the hell of it. Can't find it anywhere online, and I can't find them in my stores right now. So maybe
your
this
Walmart
weekend.
didn't get that big display yet.
They have a display, but the only displays that they're showing are like the Legos, and they're having a bunch of the the General Zod is in there, or they have the Riddler, they have the Penguin. They just don't have the Batman. So
see, ours are opposite.
We
haven't received any of the Lego displays yet, but we have like every Walmart has a giant 12-foot long thing of like McFarlane Batman figures, and so I mean, I'll if you want me to get you a Batman, I can probably get one to next week, because there's hundreds of them at all my stores down here.
Yeah, let me know if you can. That'd be great.
Yeah,
I am tempted to get that Batmobile because it kind of looks like a cross between like the Charger from Blade meets the Mad Max Interceptor.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, it just by looks alone, it looks really badass.
Wait until Monday, and you will definitely buy it because once you're sitting in the theater and it revs up,
is
that good?
It's been reduced in Smiths already.
Yeah,
I mean, for $99, was it the Technic version of it is like $99, which isn't bad considering my big Lego Ecto is like $200.
Yeah,
it's gone down to £71 in Smiths.
But I bought the 3.75-inch one for that Batmobile, and it was like, what are they, like $25? I think I bought that thing.
They're pretty. Spin Master stuff's pretty reasonably priced.
Yeah.
Well, Mark,
I saw both the bikes today, but I didn't get either one.
Yeah.
Oh, he got the bike. Nice.
They have her bike too. I saw them both
bad.
at Target today. And they have the regular version that they have the other version of the bike that Bruce Wayne drives. They have 3 bikes out right now for that movie.
Maybe I'll pick up the bike.
Batman things. No. What else, Mark? Anything good?
Right. I'll start collecting these Disney minis. Best Bin Collectibles sent me a load of them out. So all his spares. So I'm getting a collection of those.
What are they?
I've got the gold Grogu.
The Disney minis. Disney minis.
Yeah. They're nice.
See, I still don't see them over here. They're not in my stores yet. So
I've seen the Riddler 12-inch.
Chris saw two boxes full on his video this morning. I watched it this morning. He walked straight past him. I thought, and that car as well.
And I see you got all the droids figures. I still don't have.
Got the new issue number 3 of Crimson Rain this morning.
Oh yeah,
with the order on. I didn't get the Dr. Aphra variant. I just picked up 3PO this morning.
See, I don't have my
all 3.
My R2 and Boba Fett have not even shipped yet. So
mine were canceled, so I won't even have those. Target canceled mine.
Oh, Target canceled. I'm used to hearing Walmart canceling. That's why I won't pre-order things.
No, they both do it. And then half the time, if Walmart does ship it, it's destroyed. So I'm actually done with Walmart. I'm done with Walmart orders now.
I need to go get some more because me and Mr. Rosaf in the chat went down to Cosmic Toys this morning and went to look at the Star Wars, vintage Star Wars he picked up. And he went and got a Max Rebo band.
Nice.
And he already has one. So he's given me the microphone stands that I need.
Oh, nice.
So I just need the flute now.
Yeah, I need the flute also.
He wants the R2 and the Boba Fett. So I need to get him those for those.
Well, around here, that 3PO is the only one that got in store at my Targets.
Yeah. I found a 3PO in a store once. Just
it's
one.
funny because I went in the back room at Cosmic Toys this morning, and he's just got shipper boxes just lined up full of Black Series, TVC, anything he can ever want. He says, "Well, I've got everything in the shop. Everything in the shop is one of. He's got about 20 of each one in this store." Oh, I thought, my God.
Problem. And apparently, it's the same way down in next time you're down in Batu or wherever they in Hollywood studios, they've got a wall of newer Black Series again.
Yeah, they do. They have the new ones in there. Yeah.
Where in the hell? Why can't Target? And I don't understand. I said it in my video yesterday. I don't get how I can go to 6 or 7 different Walmarts, 4 or 5 different Targets, and all I see is. I saw a tech guy yesterday. One tech. That's new. That's the only other figure I've seen for weeks and weeks.
Now I'm starting to see Wrecker pop up in my stores here, but I had already got him.
See Wrecker at Target once.
Yeah,
I got him reduced at Smith's.
Nice.
£15.
I just saw one
freaking clearance over there. We can't.
I got him for £10.
10? Nice.
We don't even have those in store.
They're stacked up. I'm just selling them off because I don't know.
I just saw the pile of those carbonized troopers that they got, whatever those are. Like one of my Targets in the area did that thing where they got like 50 of them, and it's like
none of my Targets got that. We got those. That's cool.
Oh, I want that. That's cool.
Yeah,
cool.
I couldn't pass that up. I had to get that.
Yeah. I did pick him up.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah, that guy.
But I'm not opening him because I'm gonna throw him for a giveaway when I hit 500. So I figure, I don't see these too often, so I figured I'd grab it.
Yeah.
And
aren't those the ones like one of my Targets has like 50 of them? Isn't that the one that everyone's complaining about where some Targets got like 100 of them and the rest of the Targets got 0?
Yeah.
And people were showing those pictures of the end caps that are full of like hundreds of figures.
Yep. No one here in Denver got that many.
Yeah.
As best as we can tell, each store got a case of 8. And that was it. I was so looking forward to okay, I'll go buy those. I like the carbonized figures. They look cool.
You want one? I'll get you one.
Scout, and I bought it.
Oh, you got it? Okay.
Yeah.
You got it? Yeah.
But I'm like, what the hell?
Look, they had 2 there. I was gonna buy 2. But I'm like, one, I really don't have all that much room for Star Wars, so I'm like, no, I'll just do it for giveaway because if you get one, you kind of have to have 2 for the Mando.
Yeah.
And then, I don't even have a little Grogu so I'm like, well, I don't need those 2.
Well, thank God they haven't done something like a carbonized speeder bike.
Yeah, if they did a speeder bike, then you have to get that guy.
Yeah,
go with it.
Well, I'm just not doing carbonized. I just don't do the extra. I don't do the repaints or special versions or any of that.
I don't usually do it like the box, and I'll buy a except for a hot toy, I'll buy a speeder bike guy almost in every form imaginable.
Yeah.
But Mr. Prime, what is up? How you doing? Thanks for dropping by.
It's good. I liked it. Yeah.
I got it for a little over 7 hours on 3 different streams last week.
Yeah.
It was good. It's. I still think it's up there. I've lowered my thinking of it down to about an 8.5, but it's still my 3rd favorite Batman movie.
Yeah, I would say 3rd favorite. Yeah, because I like the 89. I don't care what anybody says about it being cheesy.
89 is the best.
Yeah. I like the 89. I think I like the 2nd and 3rd of Christopher Nolan's trilogy actually better than the 89. So 89 is kind of my 2nd. The Nolan number 2, the Dark Knight and the stuff with Bane in the 3rd movie is like I can watch those to no end. I could just watch those infinite times. It doesn't never makes me sick. And then this one would be my third. If I were to rank them like that, this would be number 3. It's good. Yeah. Definitely better than those Joel Schumacher ones or whatever they did.
So top 3 live action, you mean though, right?
Yes,
Just-
yeah.
Some of
I
the
like-
animated ones have been pretty good.
Oh, I
Return
love
of the
Killing
Dark
Joke.
Knights.
Just about
Oh,
the
yeah.
best Batman movie ever.
I love Killing Joke. I think Killing Joke is a masterpiece. And Year One, the animated Year One is good. Hush, the animated Hush is a great
good.
one.
Return
I
of
like
the
the-
Dark Knights Part 1 and 2. I like.
I like the
I like
three or
that a lot.
four. What are the 3 or 4 films that deal with Damian, Robin, and them? That whole
Son of Batman.
yeah,
and-
that whole arc,
those,
that
yeah.
whole series is great. Yeah, they have, and there's that Batman Superman Apocalypse movie and Public Enemies. Those two are
Yes.
fantastic. But
Those
I
are
love
some
that
good ones.
comic also. I love the Batman Superman comic. I think that the dichotomy in that comic, how they have every situation in the I don't know if you've read those comics that those movies are based on, but they have on the left page is Superman's perspective and Superman thinking and about what's going on, and on the right page it's Batman thinking and reacting to the same scene, to the same situation. So you see the good perspective in Batman, Superman, and then the dark, like I don't trust anybody thought process in the Batman. And I loved how that series shifted those two characters as they both fought together to sort of defeat whatever enemy or whatever situation was going on. And you could see the thought process of the Boy
both,
Scout and the I don't trust anyone and dark and brooding part. And I loved that comic because they
Exactly.
mirrored themselves so perfectly. And but yeah, anyways, the only thing I have about this Batman movie is, well, it's a hope for the future. I think that this is setting up a series of films that I personally want to see go on for 8, 9, 10, 12 movies. I mean, like, give me a new Batman movie every year with this cast, or every 2 years. Do it quickly. If you're going to wait 3, 4, 5 years between movies, well, you're only going to have time to do 3 or so.
They're already They're already making what, an HBO spinoff?
Yeah.
I guess
Yeah, with
around
the
Penguin,
Penguin, yeah.
For 3 films.
So I kind of like, I know that they're going to wait like 3 or 4 years before a second movie comes out, which I think is the wrong way to go. I think they need to like knock these things out and build up enemies, like build up, because like my problem was the Riddler was not the Riddler. Like he's never worn a garbage bag and an S&M mask in anything I've ever seen the Riddler in. You know, I've never seen the Riddler wearing an S&M mask and a green garbage bag for a suit. You know what I mean? I'm like, I just don't.
Yeah, but it's meant to be more grounded, real world.
Well, so was Christopher Nolan's Batman. And technically, if you go all the way back to 1989, when that came out, they said this was grounded in more in reality than comic book life, you know? So they always say that about Batman, but I don't care. If the main character, Batman, is dressed up like a bat, it's not grounded in reality because no one's going to do that in real life. So that means the villains can be outrageous and dressed up in a weird way as well. So why not just do it? If you're going to do Batman in a bat suit, do the villains in the villain suits. Come on, you know?
Mostly
It's
because
like-
the director wanted to make a movie like Seven or Zodiac. So they made the Riddler the Zodiac.
Yeah, they basically did. But I did like his riddles. I thought the whole idea of him leaving clues and building up things was that's the Riddler. That's who we want to see.
Yeah.
So he acted like the Riddler. He just didn't look like that. So it's a minor thing. And I get it now because by the time you get to the end, you realize he's trying to hide his identity. So this was the way he did it to hide his identity. It was kind of like Hush in that sense, where Hush was masked and hid his identity until the end of what he was accomplishing. So I kind of look at it like this was the Riddler and Hush sort of mixed together. And now that the Riddler's out in the open, maybe the next movie we see, he can be out there like the Riddler and have a hat and have a question mark thing. You know, this might give him the reason to have a question mark cane or have a question mark on his outfit somewhere. You know what I mean? This might give him the reason to do that, which is what I mean by building up the villains.
Now,
So it's like you could take, if they went for like a long thing, like 7, 8, 9 films, you could take your time and build like imagine if next movie we saw Harvey Dent, but working as a DA. And then the third movie, Harvey Dent had his accident. And then the fourth movie, he comes out as actually being Two-Face. You know, so you let it build up over that much time.
Well, that's what they did in '89 Batman, isn't it?
That would be awesome,
they wanted Billy D to eventually become Two-Face.
Yeah, that's
why he was just
that's
DA
what the
point.
Batman '89 comic's about.
Yes, exactly.
It's the third film, but
When
as
you get
Billy
to
D.
the-
Williams as Two-Face.
Harvey Dent introduced into the Penguin series is when
that could be too. You put him in the Penguin series and
You're
build
gonna-
him up. Yeah,
more than likely introduced into the Arkham series, and you can introduce a couple other people into the Arkham series.
yeah.
You're not going to get 8 movies out of this cast. There's just no way.
Unfortunately, no. I know that. Yeah, but
4.
I wish that we could. I wish that we would get a
maybe
series
that
where
world
that,
or
you
this version of that world, just
Yeah.
having different actors. I mean, kind of like what they did with the Schumacher, but done right. Now,
They do 3 movies, and then they can tie Patterson into another 3. You might be able to get 6 out of him. But
the other side of it also is, imagine if you did this. What if, like, as you're going along with the Patterson movies, you have him age into an older Batman, having to train a child as Robin, having Robin die, and then or having that Robin turn into Nightwing, and then he gets another guy that becomes like the Batman Beyond Batman. You know what I mean? Like, and Patterson is the old guy in the wheelchair. You know what I mean?
But if you do Batman Beyond, you got to get Keaton, because I think he's the perfect live action Batman for Batman Beyond. That's the only opposition I have for that.
You wouldn't want to wait till Robert Pattinson's like 60 years old.
No,
that's
because
what I'm saying.
I'll be 60 years old by that time. Come on.
I'll be dead by then, so I don't care.
Yeah, I'll probably be dead by then too. I'm already 50.
Pattinson's is in his 30s now, so I'll probably be 70 or 80 by then. So,
but that's kind of what I mean. Like, I actually dream of the day when we can get like an ongoing run where the continuity never ends, and we have like 10 or 12 movies, especially in the Batman universe. You know what I mean? That just keeps going for.
But you'll
decades.
never get that with live action.
No, you just won't.
Hard on the actors. What you got was a 30-year Batman.
Well, they're doing it with Marvel, but I mean, like, what I'm saying is do what Marvel did, but with just the Batman universe. I don't care about the other DC characters. Bring in 1 or 2 maybe here and there, but
the Marvel universe is only 12 years old.
Yeah, and look what they did with it already. Isn't it amazing?
Things that weren't Batman, and weren't Iron Man, and weren't Captain America, and weren't Thor, and weren't Hulk. There's not 24 Hulk movies. Hulk is
but
5.
You could do it with any franchise if you wanted to.
You can do it with Batman, unless you're doing spin-off movies.
Yeah, why not?
It has to be the right story. In my mind, it has to be the right kind of story. And
there's going to be a Catwoman movie, isn't there?
Yeah,
there's a Catwoman movie, but I don't know if Batman will even appear in it.
Yeah,
and he doesn't necessarily need to.
No,
we could do a Max Rebo. We could do a Max Rebo movie. Yeah, we'll give Left Coast and Raw's After thing. We'll do a Max Rebo movie.
Last Man Standing. It's just him, and maybe like halfway through the season, Droopy McCool comes back, and they've had a falling out, and they're like, "This one last show, brother, and that's it."
What was that show? Was it VH1's like, that show?
Storytellers.
Behind the music, yeah.
Behind the music, yeah.
Kind of like when they did that R2D2 one for was it episode 2 or episode 3 where R2 had kind of become a drunk, and that was hilarious. And they got down to the Portman to kind of be like, well, yeah, he can be kind of cheeky sometimes, but that's just how he is. And like, it was pretty funny.
Oh, you know what I saw on Tubi? I thought of you, Chris, because I think you're the only one who's going to appreciate some of this stuff I'm finding on the Tubi app. I found Nightman the other day.
Wow.
Yes, it's up there. I was like, he gets struck by lightning, and he can see, like, he can
Johnny Domino. I remember that show. I loved it.
He drives around a Prowler. Do you remember those terrible cars?
The old Pontiac crawlers? Yeah.
Next, you'll find Mantis.
Oh, it's up
that's
there.
Another
it
good
is. One. It's up there. It's on Tubi.
Hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
Who owns all those shows? Surely
But
I
doesn't
don't know,
belong
but
to somebody.
John, you're probably gonna find Team Knight Rider next, right?
I haven't seen that one yet. They got Knight Rider 2000.
That's
They
on
got the
Netflix right
one-
now. Yeah,
They got the one with the Mustang that transforms
that was
into
the
a
2000s
truck?
one. Yeah, yep.
That's all right.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that one.
I like that one a lot.
Yeah.
You had
Well, the 2000 one is
Val
when
Kilmer as the voice of Kit.
the one that's titled Knight Rider 2000 is when Kit is in the old blue car, and
The old
then they put him
57
in a
Chevy.
red.
Michael puts him in there, and then he gets
Yeah.
into the new vehicle. Yep.
They put
Yeah,
him in
that's
a
on-
red. They put him in a red car.
That's
Yeah,
on my
Isn't
that a
DVD
Dodge
box set of
Viper?
Knight Rider.
Isn't that a Dodge Viper, the red one?
No,
I thought it
it's
was-
it's still a Pontiac. It's like
Is
a
it?
variation
Okay.
of a Firebird or something.
But then they later
Or
on
Sunbird.
it's titled
Team
something
Knight
else,
Rider.
but they have a Knight Rider one where it's in like a black Mustang and it transforms into a truck,
Yeah.
and then it
That was supposed
transforms
to be
into a boat.
Michael's. That's Michael's son,
Yeah.
who's the actual driver.
Oh, gotcha.
Like
Okay.
Mike Tracer, and eventually they have to fake his death so he takes on the name Michael Knight. But yeah,
Yep.
there's
Yeah.
a TV movie because one of the creators of the original Kit was building a new car. It was still experimental. He's basically, people are trying to hunt him down, and the car is pre-programmed to find the guy's daughter and find Mike, and Mike becomes the new driver. But it's got like nano skin. It
Oh
can
yeah. It's crazy.
transform into different things, and they even get Peter Cullen to come back toward like almost 3/4 of the way through the season 1 to come back as the voice of Carr, which I thought was just amazing. And he
Oh, I
actually
gotta get
transforms-
that far then. I gotta
He
watch more of it.
transforms into a killer robot. It's just
Yeah, it transforms to a,
oh, it's
yeah, it's a
brilliant.
transformer in the end. He's
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, the
there's all
episode I watched.
credibility there.
The episode I
It's-
watched, he drove up to a lake and transformed into a boat and floated across. I was like, yes, who's gonna do this?
I mean, it's sad that it only went one season, but I hear they're all was it Hasselhoff is talking about working with what's his name, because the creator is still alive, talking about doing a feature film to somehow bring it
Yeah.
back in some shape or form.
The only person
There's
who
a
could
movie
do
in the works. Yeah.
Knight Rider would be James Gunn. If you get James Gunn to direct
Oh,
a Knight Rider movie, that would be awesome.
Definitely.
See, I actually wondered when I was watching the one with the Mustang there, because it seemed like that was only
Yeah.
a few years back. It seemed pretty
It was
modern
a
compared to
2008
was it?
KR
Okay.
GT 500 Mustang.
But I thought the reason this must not have worked is because today the car we have outside has a lot of that technology in it. Like there are cars that talk to you and
There are cars that park themselves now.
yeah,
You
park
have these
themselves and do all the stuff
these
that
auto
in the
driving
80s
cars like the Teslas. They
in
drive
the
themselves.
80s we thought Kit was cool because we thought Kit, at least from my perspective as a kid, I thought Kit was cool because Kit talked to you. Kit could drive itself. Kit could do all that stuff. But now we have cars that do that. So if you put that in a show today, people are like, yeah, well, that's just like the car I have outside. Why is that cool? You know what I mean? Like from a modern perspective, Kit, it would no longer be cool. That show wouldn't work if you brought it back. So you got to give Kit something that is way above and beyond, which is why they tried the transforming thing, I think.
Yeah.
But
nano
the
skin and
transforming thing just
everything,
didn't
yeah.
really work as well. So you got to come up with something that Kit would have that no one has, like, you know, and it can't just be like rockets come out from itself and shoots laser beams or something. Like someone's got to come up with something that would
Just
put
set
it
in the
over
80s.
top, you know.
Set
Yeah.
it in the 80s.
Set
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
That's how you fix that problem. It's not set in the 2020s.
Yeah.
It's set in the 80s.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
80s or even
I
the
don't know.
90s.
But then it would only appeal to the nostalgia people, really, wouldn't it? I'm saying if you want to get
depends.
new watchers, if you want to get kids interested, because we got interested in the show when it was on because the car did things that a normal
John,
car
I got
couldn't
2
do.
words for you. Stranger Things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I've never seen it, but I know that it's set in a more retro setting, and it seems that everyone and their grandmother loves that show.
Not seen it.
Not seen
I've
it.
never
Yeah,
seen
how
it, to
could
be
you not
honest. I'm
see it?
sorry.
One is
I actually watched
It's
through
second
it.
season you'd love.
I just watched through the
You-
whole thing.
of the second season.
I just watched through all the seasons again in preparation for season 4 coming out. Yeah.
I got to watch season 3 again so I can catch up. I'm pretty sure I
Season
remember.
3 is the weirdest. Season 3 is the one that goes way out there. It's really weird. Yeah.
GAP Stargate. I would sign up for that show.
Yeah.
Kit could now create a wormhole and go through the Stargate. I would be down for
Time
that.
traveling Kit. That's it.
Yeah.
A DeLorean Kit.
Put a flux capacitor in him. He's good to go.
They're rebooting Quantum Leap. Just make Quantum Leap
Yeah.
a car. Kit jumps into different cars in different periods.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah.
He's like, oh, I leaped into a Model T. No. Okay.
My mother, the car. Worked great.
Yeah.
Yeah, T.
Did you hear who just signed up to co-star in that show? Ernie Hudson.
Oh,
Really?
So if you ever watch Quantum Leap, now the rumor is he's going to play Magic, there was an episode where Sam leaps into his brother's platoon. That's the person he leaps into.
Huh.
So, but he's now a senator, and he's the one that pretty much is like goes to Capitol Hill, gets all the funding for the new Project Quantum Leap.
So it's going to be tied into the original show.
It's a continuation. It's not a reboot. It's a continuation where it's been 30 some odd years since Sam leaped into the accelerator. They've reopened the project. A new scientist steps in.
Yeah.
I wonder if they're
trying to uncover the secrets of the whole project, the accelerator, and how time travel works.
It'd be interesting to see if Scott Bakula makes an appearance on the show, and if people who leave.
He's interested in doing it. He's been talking with NBC Universal. So at some point, I would love to see it because he was screwed over. I mean, let's be honest.
Where is he right now? Where's his character? Because didn't he
traveling in time?
Just traveling, yeah. He never returned home.
Yeah, he never returned home. I thought
basically said that Al and his wife Beth celebrate so-and-so wedding anniversary. They have 3 daughters. Dr. Sam Becker never leaped home, which meant that he was continuously leaping out there.
Well,
and he met God, didn't he? Meet? I thought he met God.
No.
And God was the one that was doing it.
No, there was like an angel. It was basically insinuated there was an angel. He thought he was God. Are you the one who's been leaping me through time?
Yeah.
Who was a bartender named Al, who actually appeared in the very first episode of Quantum Leap as well, as a character named Weird Ernie. You might know him from the classic MacGyver show. He played Jack Dalton. I can't think of the actor's name right now, but he's the one who played Al, and he knew who Sam really was.
Yeah.
Even says to him, "Why have you, why did you build Project Quantum Leap?" Well, I want to travel through time. Why did you want to travel through time? I want to make things better. Well, haven't you? He was kind of like letting Sam know that things are going to get tougher. Maybe insinuating that the project will stop having contact with him, but he was leaping in his own body this time. So,
well, and for them to do that, they'll have to change the rules, because the rules were that Beckett could only leap into from the moment he left back to when he was born. He could only leap through his timeline.
Time travel with his own lifetime.
So they'll have to change the rules. So whoever this new person is,
changed a couple of times.
There was a precedent. There was an exception to that rule, because he did leap through with his own genetic.
Yeah, that's right.
Because he leaped into his great grandfather during the Civil War.
Yeah,
that's true.
So you could now, because my whole theory was, if they ever continue the show, have his daughter Sammy Jo, who's working on the project. If she was the one leaping in the accelerator, she could still go past through his timeline. But they're going to have a different scientist jump into the accelerator. They're going to have a larger cast. And it's going to be interesting to see how everything plays. They got Belisario is going to be involved with it to an extent. He's not going to be the showrunner, but he's going to be involved with it. Deborah Pratt, who is one of the original executive producers, she's going to be back with it as well. So it's going to be interesting to see just how it plays out. I mean, I know there's a lot of the Quantum Leap community.
Is it a real show or is it a streaming show?
No, it's going to be it's supposed to be a real show. It's NBC. But so I'm hoping that they're not going to make it exclusive on Peacock. That's one.
Yeah.
I would hate that they do that, but I mean, I would love to see it on broadcast network. But I mean, that's the only way I really see it happening.
Broadcast network TV has a terrible reputation of canceling shows after 1 or 2 seasons.
And they moved Quantum Leap around a lot when it aired.
Well, but back then they needed it. Now they may or may not need it. That's the problem with sci-fi shows, is the minute they show a vulnerability in their ratings, they get canceled. Now maybe they give it a year on BC, and then they give it a backup year on Peacock or something
Yeah.
to keep it alive.
See, what I liked about those kind of shows was like, it was the same with Young Indiana Jones. Like, I liked them because of
Nice.
who we met. Like
Yeah.
when I was watching Quantum Leap, like if he jumped into like you said, he jumped into the Vietnam War at one point. You know what I mean? And I was like, oh, this is a cool episode because I like the other characters. I like what he's doing in the time frame he's in, and I
His
liked when he
brother
jumped
Tom
into
and
like
the other people in the platoons.
he jumped into like
the
that one
families.
time where he was in the baseball thing, and the guy he was helping was on the team with like famous baseball players that we know are nowadays are famous people. And I liked, or like that time we jumped into like he was dealing with the musicians or whatever, and there was like Buddy Holly or somebody was there, and I was like, oh, this is cool because like
they called it a kiss with history. That's what those interactions were like. One time he's traveling, he's at his sister's engagement party or whatever, rehearsal dinner, runs into a little boy that's dancing, and he tries showing some moves to the kid.
That's
and
Elvis.
It's like, hey, no, it's Michael Jackson. Like, come on, Michael.
Right. Okay,
like,
that was the Michael Jackson one. Okay.
They did that very heavily in the first 3 seasons, and then it kind of like faded away from it because I used to have a book. It was all basically like an encyclopedia for Quantum Leap, and it had all the kisses in history in chronicle order. Like every time he would run into like the Buddy Holly, Stephen King in the Halloween episode. I mean,
that's what I liked about. That's another thing I liked about Young Indiana Jones too, was because like he went in that, like in one of those Young Indiana Jones things, he went into the bar and it was all these jazz legends that we now listen to and know are like the legends of jazz. But Young Indiana Jones was meeting them before they even got famous, you know, and I thought I like that kind of stuff, you know, when a TV show, you know, because it might be fictional, but I get to see, I feel like I'm being touched by something that's real. You know,
they had Chubby Checker in there in one episode when he leaped into a DJ in Peoria, PA. There was a whole rock and roll controversy that was before FM stations.
Well, I like the same thing about Quantum Leap and Indiana Jones, but remember when Indiana Jones came out and they started labeling them as episode 22, 23, and 24.
Really?
So there are 25 chapters in the Indiana Jones at the moment, if you include the 4th of the original movies. But they are actually labeled.
Did they put them in the right order, though? Did they put Temple of Doom before?
Yep, Temple of Doom first.
Yeah.
So I told that to somebody the other day, and they were like, "No, you're lying." And I had to take these to work to say no.
You had to show them. I know. I hate that when people do that. You're like, "Trust me, dude. I have the videotapes. I know what I'm talking about." They don't believe you till you actually have to show it to their face.
And they didn't believe that Indiana Jones was alive in 1990. I'm like, yes, he is. That's how every episode started.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is that the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles just popped up on Vudu to pick up $40 for the whole run.
Wow.
And in the description, it says every episode starts with Indiana Jones as an old man, which is not how the DVDs run. They have edited him completely out.
Wow.
So, you know, I don't know if what's going on with that, but I got paid, so I'm about to be buying that. Because I somehow I missed out on those DVDs. But let me pull.
I remember. See, I don't have them on DVD, but I remember watching them when they came out.
It comes with these. So these are the chapters of Indiana Jones.
Huh.
And those were all of them that were available at the time on DVD. I mean, on VHS. Yeah. And so you were able to get, you know, a whole bunch of them, not all of them, but I don't think all of them.
Was that an hour-long show, right?
Yeah. It was an hour long. It was like, it wasn't in syndication. I don't think it was aired on a regular basis. It was just syndication.
They edited them all to be movies, to be TV movies. So they're all about an hour and a half now. Each
okay.
because they cut, because usually you'd have half the episode would be the young kid and then the other half would be Sean Patrick Flannery, and then they cut all those up so that then they run as movies.
Gotcha.
Now, speaking of time travel, did you hear the ugly rumor that apparently the next Indiana Jones is going to deal or have some time travel aspect to it? I'm hoping it's not true. Personally, I'm hoping it's not true.
There's a possibility.
Flashbacks.
It was supposed to mostly be about the Fountain of Youth, but I don't know if they got rid of that or not.
Huh.
Yeah. Because I was talking to a few people.
Pirates of the Caribbean too.
I'm like, if it's flashbacks, I'm okay with that being flashbacks. They say no, it's not flashbacks. I'm like, oh god, that's if they do any kind of a time travel thing, I think it's gonna. Me being a big time travel fan, I think it's gonna make it even worse than Crystal Skull. Okay.
No.
I don't know. I haven't.
Nazis in it.
The other stuff is all flashback stuff to when he were at the end of the war, and that's how it sets up how this friend of this girl is supposed to be his friend's daughter, and it shows them supposedly escaping from some Nazis, and they've de-aged Harrison.
Yeah, I mean, if it's flashbacks, I'm down for that. I'm perfectly fine with that. But it's. I mean, we'll see what happens. Didn't they just finish principal filming for it?
Yeah.
Back to the Future. Yeah. I like what Michael was saying. Like, don't they invent new shows or whatever? I mean, like I always feel like there's a good mixture of old and new, because like we got The Expanse, which is incredible, and then I mean, there's a number of. I mean, what was that other show with the?
I think these networks aren't taking any.
Oh
chances.
no, yeah, networks don't take a lot of risks. It's the streaming services that come up with all the new shows. Yeah, you're right. But then Gap's talking about Earth 2. Earth 2 was one.
That was a good one on NBC.
And that one got canceled before we got to see the end. So that's a perfect candidate for bring back Earth 2 and let's finish the story.
Well, see, that's NBC for you. NBC has had, every time they get a sci-fi or fantasy show, they basically screwed over. Perfect example, like you said, Earth 2. More recent example, Timeless. Another example is Sequest. I used to love that show. Me and my dad would watch that show all the time. They kind of, like the third season, it started getting kind of wonky. Once you start introducing aliens,
you jumped. Didn't it jump like 15 years between season 2 and 3?
Yeah.
Well,
like, that was like 10 years. It was a 10-year jump.
And the aliens kept transporting them to a water planet when they were fighting off other aliens or something.
And they even did time travel.
Oh, and then suddenly the Cro-Mags come in.
Oh, Sliders.
Sliders, yeah.
Sliders is a favorite of mine. I mean, that's.
I like Sliders, yeah.
I did. And then after season 3, it just got. Then they kept.
Oh, yeah, because they got rid of. It was a season 5.
Yeah.
They got Jerry O'Connell and his brother both left the show.
Yeah.
So they created this amalgamation of Quinn and an alternate Quinn put into a different actor's body. I mean, it's kind of Doctor Who right there. But I mean, it was one after Fox got rid of it. Sci-Fi saved it. They saved it from, I think they took over season 4. And then season 5, you can clearly see that a lot of the places and the writing and everything changed tremendously. And that's another show where they kind of like left you on a cliffhanger.
They did. You were hanging.
Rembrandt jumps in that unstable vortex as to whether he got back to his Earth or not. We don't know. Did they stop the Cro-Mags? Nobody knows.
Well, the whole thing with it was, I felt like as people left the show, they all got abandoned somewhere, because the girl got stranded somewhere and then didn't.
Sabrina Lloyd, Wade Wells,
and then the dude, the singer guy there, he got stranded somewhere, didn't he?
No, that's Rembrandt Brown. He was the singer. He jumped through the vortex because their timer got busted. He got a vial of the virus that was supposed to wipe out the Cro-Mags, injected himself, and they found some old Cro-Mag sliding equipment. But the problem was it was extremely unstable. All 4 of them wouldn't be able to leap or to slide, so he takes a chance to slide through. We see the vortex after he jumps just completely explode and vanish, not knowing whether he made it home or not. Not knowing whether he's even alive or not anywhere.
That was the
they dropped it right off at a But I think I thought I read somewhere sometime last year. Jerry O'Connell was in talks with a couple people about a potential.
Because that was another
of-
show. It was another show where
It was
I
on
wondered
Fox.
what
Yeah,
I always wondered what happened to them because I wanted
Yep.
to know what happened to Wade. I wanted to know what happened to Rembrandt. I
Well-
wanted to know what happened to the main guy, Jerry O'Connell. There,
yeah.
you know, like eventually, you know, like even if it's just like a sentence or two at the end of the show saying he never made it home, she ended up back in the original world, and he ended up back in the original world. Like I just
Yeah,
'cause
I
they-
mean,
I don't
Clavant
like
Derricks,
being
he was
left.
a very likable. He was a likable person, likable character. I mean, at first he kind of came off
shit.
pompous. Yes, we are nerds. We
Dude,
are nerds, dude. You got a problem with that? I mean, you know, his character arc from season 1 all the way to season 5. I mean, you know, he really took on the lead, and it's just kind of sad when you get the hero and you don't know, did he make it? Did he die in the vortex? What happened?
Yeah.
Did he save the world? You know, and you're stuck in those situations as to, okay, well, we're gonna have to wait maybe 10 or 20 years. Maybe someone will write a comic book that will fix it. You know,
yeah,
like
exactly.
was it
Yeah.
Buffy and Angel? They continue those on in the comics.
In the comics, they did,
But
yeah.
mainstream fans won't ever know about it because they never even knew about it to begin with.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
you know,
Well, that's when ABC canceled a show called Forever. I really
Yes.
liked that show, and you know, some shows deliberately create cliffhangers.
that was with the actor from the Fantastic Four movies. I
Yeah.
think
Yeah,
it was the
he
doctor.
found it. He
Second.
found the other guy like him, right? And then it just sort of ended. They didn't finish that storyline, right?
They found the other guy who's like him, except he's been alive long enough that he doesn't care about people.
Yeah,
He's a serial killer in some instances, and
yeah.
it just done.
Did we even get to see his face? Did we get to see who that was?
I
Okay,
think we did
I
in the
don't-
last episode.
All right.
Mainstream networks are notorious for that. It was that ABC had Time After Time, the time travel show with H.G. Wells.
Yeah.
Fox had a really good show that I wish they would have continued called John Doe. Did you guys
Oh, yeah.
ever see that one?
I don't remember that
With
one.
Dominic
I'm not sure.
Purcell. He was someone who wakes up on an island, doesn't remember anything about himself. They take him to the mainland. He only sees in black and white, but he has every piece of knowledge ever printed anywhere.
Ever printed?
Like literally, he can step into a car, never knew how to drive that car before, and automatically he's learning stuff. He's using predictive math to, to ride the stock market and to invest and make money. I mean, he literally, someone says, "Oh, what's the population of this city in this state," and he automatically knows it.
Wow.
And for some reason, he knows this stuff, but he has no memory of who he is. But there's certain episodes where he'll see something in color, not the entire view, but one object in color, and it's a clue to his past. And it turns out there's a big organization and stuff, and it's kind of a hard to explain show, but it was really good. It's just like Fox and ABC, now all the big networks, they get a good show.
Yeah.
And just when the show starts to get its legs, they pull the carpet,
Yeah. Yeah.
Time Tunnel, definitely. That's pretty
I'm
much
just-
what Quantum Leap was kind of based loosely on.
I'm just looking on Google now how many time travel shows there is, and what's your mind?
Even the UPN network had 7 days, and I really liked that. Where they're using alien technology to travel back 7 days.
I like that one. That was good too. And then there's like the Voyagers.
Yeah, the Voyagers. Yeah.
Stuff like that. There's a lot of great shows. And the network that really doesn't do a lot with that is CBS does not do a lot of.
No, they're more procedural.
From sci-fi stuff.
I think the most that they've done anything within the past 15 years. I mean, there's a show Evil, which I kind of got into.
Oh, Evil's good. I like that show. Yeah.
It's kind of not really fantasy. I mean, it's more horror, kind of suspense.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
MacGyver probably was the closest thing we got to a sci-fi show.
Yeah.
In a way.
Adam Project.
Adam
I think I
Project.
saw
That's
that
the one with the.
Yeah.
Like from what I'm reading, everyone's raving about it. They're making comparisons to Steven Spielberg's Amblin Entertainment type movies. I saw someone post a story that they were comparing it to E.T. and Back to the Future. I'm a big Back to the Future fan, so
yeah, if it's on Netflix,
I'm going to have to watch it. I gotta
Yeah,
wait
it's
2
all right.
days though because my wife's a big Ryan Reynolds fan. She says you better not watch it. She's
I
away
used-
for the
I-
weekend, so I gotta
I
wait
watched
till.
it and I watched it and I didn't see any comparison to Back to the Future. I don't know what that.
Well, I guess I
Other than
haven't
it's
watched
time
it yet.
travel.
So, well, I guess some people were saying like some of the writing or how it's one of those kind of movies that you can sit and watch with the family. Everyone's gonna get into it.
Okay,
I haven't watched it yet,
I
but
see.
that's what I've been reading. So,
Yeah,
we'll see.
Or maybe I'll watch that later today. I needed something new to watch.
Yeah.
Ryan
It's
Reynolds
good.
does a lot of
Yeah.
good,
Worth a
you know,
watch.
Yeah.
Worth a
does
watch.
some good stuff.
yeah.
I mean,
Okay, well,
he's definitely a marketing genius.
Let's slide this conversation to what we were actually kind of going to talk about is Ghostbusters.
Cool.
So Ghostbusters Afterlife came out in October. It's a pretty decent hit. I think it surprised a lot of people how good it was. And I know a lot of the complaints is it was just a remake of the first movie. Pretty much
No, it
like
wasn't. No, it wasn't.
it's beat for beat a lot of the exact same movie.
I don't know.
But kind of like JJ did with The Force Awakens. Well, it's not exactly the same movie. It's beat for beat a lot of the exact same film.
Yeah.
But I had questions. I had plot questions.
Yes.
Oh, dear.
I don't know if Dave. My
Are you talking about the mother?
well, I'd like to know who the mother was to start with. I'd like to know who their father was to start with.
Yeah.
Isn't it-
You know,
Well, as far as the father of the kids,
before we start, does Ghostbusters 2 exist in this universe?
Yes.
yes, because you have Ray's occult books, which we
Yes.
didn't see
Well-
until Ghostbusters 2.
And,
So that
and they found the
establishes
gray.
Going to explore it further in future
And they
films.
showed the uniforms from Ghostbusters 2 in the closet.
Yeah.
No, those were Ghostbusters 1s because you'll notice my uniform right here. Let me move my microphone. See this?
Yeah.
There is a difference.
I thought they were gray. I thought the ones in the closet were gray. Yeah, there you go, like that.
The name tag is different. Different sizing, different lettering from Ghostbusters 1 to Ghostbusters 2.
Oh, okay.
The font is a little different. So that's a big difference between Ghostbusters 1 and 2. That's
Well, and the
uniforms.
color. And the color.
Yeah, well, they did wear khaki suits in Ghostbusters 2. If you get a chance, go back and you'll see some scenes where they're wearing khaki suits and they're wearing the darker gray suits.
Yeah.
The darker suits are supposed to be more heavier. That's why they're wearing them, especially in the wintertime in New York City.
Uh-huh.
So that's part of that right there. So yes,
But I thought we
it is
saw both
established.
colors in the movie, is what I'm saying. There was so in
No,
some shot we
they
saw
were
the
just-
dark ones, in other shots
They were
we
just
saw the,
old and dingy and faded.
Oh, all right.
Because the ones that they actually wore, now mine is a flat material. Theirs is more of a gridded, almost a mesh. It's more of a traditional style flight suit from the 80s.
Yeah.
That all the suits in Egon's laboratory are the older Ghostbusters 1 style.
Okay.
So there is that. Now, also little hints. The Ecto 1 that they drive in the movie is technically in real life is the Ghostbusters 1A, the Ecto 1A, what they actually use in Ghostbusters 2. There are two separate cars. A lot of people aren't aware of that. They think that in Ghostbusters 1, they just rebuilt the Ecto 1 into the Ecto 1A. It's technically a second car.
Right.
Yep.
And they actually used that and a donor car to make the two cars because they actually threw a freaking Corvette engine in that car so they could do some of the stunts that they did in that damn movie, like making it jump and turning down the corners as fast.
Mm-hmm.
The original Ecto 1 could not do that. They sped up the footage in order to make the sharp turns look like the car was going fast.
So who's the mom?
And you mean the mother of Callie, the grandmother to the kids?
Yeah.
It's never mentioned. There is no name, but based on age, a lot of people have postulated that it's before they became Ghostbusters.
See, I saw something on that the other day that it's actually a possibility he abandoned the family before Ghostbusters 1.
Yes. So that's what I'm saying. Before they became Ghostbusters, that Egon wasn't always the most sociable person. That maybe him and her, maybe she was a research assistant of his, or maybe they were working together, and maybe they just found that maybe she was more of a normal person, and that they just didn't mesh, or that maybe it was better that maybe she, who knows what situation, she could have been involved with someone and decided to go back to them, but that Egon still wanted to keep track and try and support them. Maybe that's why he didn't have all the money that he had. Maybe he invested a lot of the money into helping to support her. We don't know. There's a lot of uncertainty, and trust me, there's been a lot of heated arguments about it was one of his lab assistants at the college he was at in Ghostbusters 2. No, that doesn't track, because she has to be around my age. I'm 43, so she's got to be around my age, if not maybe a couple years younger. I mean, look at Paul Rudd. Paul Rudd's 50.
Yeah.
So I mean, she has to be around early to mid 40s.
He's always 25.
He's a vampire. Let's be honest. But no, I mean,
because the oldest kid, wasn't it like around 15 years old or 16?
He was 15. Yeah,
15.
Finn
Right?
Wolfhard's character of Trevor. He's 15, not yet 16, at least at the time of filming.
Yeah.
But
I mean in the film, the character itself. Was 15,
he's 15.
Right?
Yeah. That's what I'm referring to, Trevor, because he hasn't passed his he doesn't have a driver's license yet.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's been a lot of
she
talk.
would have. I mean, like, realistically, if she was in college, she would have been in her mid-20s when she had that kid. So meaning that she's at least, because like if she was 25, let's say when she had him, add 15 years, she's going to be 40 years old. Yeah.
Which is what we're assuming she is. She's about 40, 42-ish.
Yeah.
So I mean,
I guess there's something on the board in Egon's lab that actually talks about that she needs braces, and it has a date on it, and the date makes it as if it was like maybe 2 or so, that she had been born 2 or so years before Ghostbusters 1.
Yeah.
Probably about 80, maybe 82, 81, let's just say.
Yeah, but it's just that's like the biggest problem I have with the movie is that just doesn't seem like Egon's character, and it definitely isn't
that he would he would walk away. Yeah.
That he would walk away, or that Ray and Winston would just let this person, because obviously Janine knows her.
Yeah.
So if Janine knows her, why doesn't Winston know her? Why didn't they help her? Why didn't they go, and when she's being evicted from her home, Winston. The
only thing that might make sense is maybe that Egon confided in Janine, because they were pretty close.
Yeah,
Ghostbusters 1. There's a deleted scene that's now added into the end of Ghostbusters in the end credits, where she gives him a World's Fair coin that she has 2 of.
Yeah. Well, and that could also coincidentally had a real relationship, is because he was already married or had somebody.
That maybe if they got close enough, he got to the point where my last relationship didn't work out too well, and maybe he told her about that.
Yeah.
That would give a little bit. That seems a little bit reasonable, but definitely there's been arguments. No, most people who really looked at it like, okay, it had to have happened before. Maybe, like I said, maybe the mother was in a relationship with someone else, so she decided to go back, or whatever circumstances. Maybe she pleaded with Egon, please, I just need you to stay away. But he still wanted to support her and her child. So I mean, that's the only thing that would make sense to me.
The mother must have hated Egon, because her feelings got pushed onto the girl, who not only hates Egon but hates science, and wants nothing really to do with it. She humors Phoebe, but it's more like science is a hassle, and
I don't know if it's necessary that her mother pushed the feelings on her. It could have been that maybe her mother was also a science type, and she kind of like just the whole science thing really pushed her like off, but at least her mother was around. But the fact that she's never actually met her father drives a lot of angst onto it. So I think that was part of it. At least that's my takeaway from it.
Do you think we'll ever see an expanded version of this with like an extra half hour of footage or something?
Well, rumor has it that there is, even though Jason Reitman has said that this is his cut, people have asked him about a director's cut. Supposedly there is extra footage out there. If anything, they'll be smart to wait a year or so and then spring it on us, because there's another anniversary of Ghostbusters coming up in a couple of years.
Yeah.
Because originally when the movie was slated to come out, there was the year they announced it, it was the 35th anniversary. And it's taken them a couple of years, plus everything else going on in the world. I'm not saying that keyword. YouTube, I know you love to use that word on us.
Yeah.
But it took us a couple of years to get the actual movie. It took us an additional 2 years before we could see the movie. So we're coming on the 40th anniversary. It's going to be very soon.
Yeah.
We're talking 2024. So,
well, the other, because there were just continuity errors that bugged me, and I loved the movie. Don't get me wrong. I've watched it many times. It was exactly what I needed at the time.
Yeah, I loved it. I thought it was great. Yeah.
I loved the callbacks, even though I did think that there was way too many of them. Some of the information I would like to know is, how in the hell did they get there at the end of the movie? Did they drive? Did they fly? What was the conversation between Ray and Winston and Peter to get them all together, somehow find new throwers?
And look at it, within a day, within what, maybe 12 hours, how the hell did they get from New York to Oklahoma?
Yeah.
Well, you can fly to Oklahoma City. Just what's the conversation?
Well,
how do you get Peter to
if anything,
job?
If they did fly, obviously it's Winston and his money.
And his private
he's like a billionaire now.
Yeah.
So he probably flew them on the fastest jet.
Now, who supposedly bought the firehouse and it turned it off screen, but Ray tells us that somebody else bought it and it's a Starbucks. Does he never drive by?
Possibly. Or, Ray's just not all the way there. I mean,
well, that is Ray.
I mean, he's running a bookstore in New York City and he's not turning a profit. So, so obviously something's amiss there. But
behind the scenes, Winston is paying for it to keep him afloat.
Yeah,
Winston owns the firehouse, obviously.
Yeah, who does he think is paying his bills? If it's not, there's just weird continuity things that bugged me. But the biggest one was I just didn't see it was in Ray and Winston's character to just leave this woman and her 2 children behind, even if they're mad at Egon, which clearly Ray's very hurt.
Well,
by what happened when he left.
Well, some of that stuff happens in real life. I mean, in my own life, when I was, I was like really early 20s, like 20, 21, 22. I got involved with a girl that's
how they got there.
That left a marriage. You know what I mean? She left a marriage, had children, and then a year or so later decided to go back with the original husband and raise the kids together. So I had to leave the relationship. You know what I mean? So because she went
that's
back,
how they got to Oklahoma so fast.
Yep.
So that happens in real life. And if you know what I mean, and for all I know, because like right after they got back together, they had another kid. Well, how do I know if that kid's mine or his? Because we were both sleeping with her at the exact same time. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
if we don't know the background of what happened with Egon and the mom, then if it happened before Ghostbusters, maybe Winston wouldn't really know unless he'd been told.
Yeah.
But Ray, it was made pretty clear that it's mostly Ray and Egon who created the Ghostbusters, who
created the equipment and
did the equipment, did the science, and they pulled Peter along. But so I would think that Ray would know, but it's just weird that Ray would act like that. It's kind of the same problem I have with the new He-Man. Is Tila just wouldn't act like that. That's not Tila's character as we've been known.
It's out of character because Ray was always the heart of the Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
And if anything, him and Egon were pretty much brothers. I mean, come on, they were even sleeping with the slime in part 2, let's be honest.
Well,
it's always the quiet ones.
And that could be why the hurt is so deep with Ray.
Yeah.
And why at the end it looks like Dan made it look like he was going to cry when he saw Egon, and I'm sorry, I should have listened to you, but I don't know, that was just, and not knowing who the kid's dad is, that's not really super important, but
trust me, within my circles, like the Ghostbuster community in general, and the group that I'm a part of directly, we had a lot of discussions about the mother. When was she conceived? When did all this happen? Because there's tons of Facebook groups, Twitter groups, and so many people saying, "Oh, this happened or this happened." Someone's not paying attention. They don't notice this little fact or that little fact. There's been a ton of discussions about that, but the majority is looking at that it had to have happened before they became Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that makes sense, especially with her age. Because I was born in 78. I'm guessing she was probably like maybe 81, 82, for all that we know. But yeah, it's Egon does, a lot of people like, wait a minute, he walked away from a family? This isn't Egon.
Well, that's what I was trying to say. Like, it's not me to walk away from my child, but I very well could have a kid out there that I never knew about.
But also,
my friends,
you take that choice away.
all know about it.
Yeah.
My friends all know about it.
Yeah.
That I grew up with, and like,
well, it's clear that she knows Egon.
So
she had interactions with Egon.
Yeah,
I'm just trying to say some of this stuff happens in real life,
And it's even almost kind of clear that Phoebe sort of knows a little bit about him, because she talks about Grandpa, and then when they get there and she sees stuff, then she's instantly knows enough about him. I also thought Egon was used a little too much. I thought the whole using him as moving the lamp and showing her the stuff, I thought that kind of was like, I don't know, I thought that was just too much. Like, and then when the mom goes downstairs, the light moves and shows her the thing. That's all the kind of stuff we would expect Egon to do, but it also, I don't know, it was too I don't know, it too much of a plot convenience that Egon just hung around, and a week or so after he died, and it's there. Where did Bob go, by the way?
Well, he had unfinished business, so I mean.
Well, that's true.
Well, he's trying to save the world.
And if anything, I mean, if anyone's going to know how to, use ghost abilities, if anything, it's going to be Egon, because not just in the movie, but look in the cartoon, the real Ghostbusters. There's been so many times that Egon has either almost died or was in a phased or astral form where he actually went. There's even an episode where he went into the containment unit to find some ghosts. I mean, there's
fire pole.
What?
How do they get up the fire pole?
Well, how did they get up the fire pole? They don't. There's obviously this is another thing that came up recently.
Yeah.
That there is another entry. There's an exit, like little stairs, because it's like a basement, kind of like a storm cellar. That's how they get out.
Just like Batman does.
Just like Batman.
Yeah.
Well, no,
except Batman.
Go to Adam West. He had the button. He can go up the pole.
Batman's slidey poles, though, were magic because he could put his clothes on while sliding. That's what I thought was amazing.
I always assumed that, much like your game, John, there was just a spot where he jumped off, changed clothes, jumped back on, and slid down.
Is that what it is? Yeah. See, I often wondered, because I loved the old show, because it would be like the Bat pole, and then the other would be like the Robin pole. And I was like, and Robin would jump on his, and Batman would jump on his, and when they got to the bottom, they were both in their uniforms. So I was like, if Batman jumped on the Robin pole, would he be wearing Robin's suit at the bottom? Like, I just...
Cool. Yeah, no, I was just hoping that somehow the community had come up with, I didn't know if there was some background stuff I didn't know, or if there was a comic series or a book.
I'm going to share something with you. I'm going to share something with you guys.
There is a book out, isn't there?
You got to read the book. Yeah, you got to read you have to do your homework.
No homework. I don't know. I'd probably read a Ghostbusters book. That sounds pretty cool.
There you go.
Okay. See, it's a cutscene.
Right there.
What? Just show me.
these are some of the scenes that are not yet included that they're talking about possibly putting in.
And somebody is like, oh well, we don't need to see that. Everybody I've watched this movie
Yes, we
with,
do.
like, how'd they get back up the pole?
Give me
Yeah.
every damn scene possible. That's how I feel.
Yeah, me
I know
too.
they
I've
need to
always
keep
felt
it
that way
because
too.
they you can't. Nobody's well, we would, but not a lot of normies would watch a 3-hour Ghostbusters movie.
Well,
I
isn't
don't
there a
know
3-hour
because-
Batman movie?
Because they watched a
Yeah, but
4-hour Snyder movie.
It's not
Yeah,
like it's making billions of dollars.
But yeah.
I like that. That's all I'm
And-
asking for.
And by the way, speaking of Phoebe and the proton pack in that picture, they had lighter packs, but she actually wanted to wear the heavier pack so it came off more authentic, and she was a Ghostbuster fan anyways.
Yeah, which makes sense. And also, so I mean, he had a lot of those packs. I mean, he had like 10 packs.
Oh
Well-
yeah, he made
well,
more
if
than
you
what they
remember-
needed. Yeah.
Ray says that Egon took all of our equipment, all of our fuel, the
I'll
isotopes.
buy
Yeah,
that. I love Art of Books.
yeah.
I'll go look for that right after this is over.
That is actually on sale on our Amazon in the States here. Because originally it was like a $40 or $39 book.
Yeah.
And I think
have that
right
visual
now,
history.
All three for £63.
Hmm.
That's good. The inside story. That's a really good. book.
I have I have those. I have the Ultimate Visual History. I have the Inside the Stories, and I have the art book too. The art book is phenomenal.
Yeah, I love art books. I even have the sequel trilogy art books because they're beautiful.
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
I want to get that Art of Zelda book. The Zelda, it's like Zelda history and art book, and it's in a book that looks like the gold cartridge.
Oh,
and it
yeah.
actually slides out of the
yeah,
black
it's
slipcase.
Chris, it's $20 right now, the hardcover.
Yeah, I'll buy it.
But by the way, if any of you guys want a Ghostbusters Afterlife poster, let me know. I got a ton.
Oh, I'll have a poster. Yeah, like an actual movie poster.
Yeah.
I actually asked for that at our theater, and she didn't have any extras.
AMC
love
threw
that.
ours away. My buddy's an AMC manager, and they cleared them all out.
Yeah, I got a full-size poster here.
I would love one.
Nice.
Yeah, Dave, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Do you need a roll for me? I can want me to send you a roll to mail it to me.
I actually have to get a few. I have to get a
Yeah.
few tubes. But yeah, I got because what happened was we actually my group we got a bunch of these from Sony to pass out at our fundraisers.
Oh wow.
To help with promotions. So
Yeah.
I mean, that's why there's so many Ghostbuster groups. Sony likes to use them. Like, oh, you're doing this? We'll hashtag you on Twitter, or we'll do this. So yeah.
Yeah.
So I got a bunch of those sitting around.
Cool.
I do have a few of them hanging up.
I always ask the theaters near me when I always talk to the managers every time I go to see what they have of extras if I can get anything, and
Yeah,
it's
but the
becoming
employees
really
get
rare.
first dibs. Yeah.
Well, the thing
the
is-
employees get first dibs.
This last year, she's been telling me they've only got one of the posters in.
Yeah.
Like 4 or 5 years ago, they'd get
Yeah.
a stack. They'd get 5 or 6 posters and only use 1 or 2
Well,
and be able to have extras to give
considering
away.
that
But
the movie
now,
theater companies kind of like, okay, well, with everything with public occupancy rates having to be
Yeah.
what they were spending less money on promotional
promotion.
materials.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, normally we would have gotten a big cutout for the stuff.
Yeah,
But
she said they weren't getting any cardboard standees the last year, or like none of that
Started
stuff.
Getting
yeah.
those back in.
Yeah.
My buddy who works for AMC says they have one for. They don't have much for Morbius, but they do have a big cutout standee thing for Doctor Strange.
Oh, okay.
So it looks like maybe Disney and Marvel are getting back
So
into
they're
it.
coming back. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Because I was
that's-
trying to get a Godzilla poster too. I wanted the Godzilla versus King Kong one, and none of the theaters they were like, we only got one. That's all we got was the one. So
well, while we're here, Dave, why don't you talk to us about your charity? Everybody down below in the information and the links and stuff, I've linked not only Dave's YouTube channel, but a Facebook page that he is gathering some money for a charity event he's doing.
okay,
The Ride for Roswell. Now, there's a medical institute here in Buffalo called the Roswell Park Comprehensive Cancer Institute. They've been around literally for decades, and they do an annual fundraiser. It's a charity bike ride. My wife's actually been a part of it for this is, I think, her 8th year now. She got me to actually, since we went through our health improvements with the gastric bypass. I've lost a ton of weight. She did. So I actually joined her last year. I signed up for the 10-mile ride. I was psychotic, and then I decided not to do 10 miles, but 20 miles. So I did the 20-mile route last year. This year, I'm actually signed up for the 30-mile route.
Wow.
Figure, last year we raised quite a bit, and I wanted to kind of step it up. But literally, it's not like 20 people. It's like a couple thousand that do this ride every year.
Yeah.
And now with everything getting better in the world, we did like separate locations across the area where they did different routes. But this year we're resuming like more public routes. So it's going to be like a couple thousand doing a bike ride at once. So I'm doing the 30-mile ride this year. Basically, the link that Chris has posted is directly to my Facebook page. All the funds go directly to Roswell Park Cancer Institute. It's just linked in my name, and it goes directly to Roswell Park's page. Now, they do cancer research and cancer treatments. So it's not just, they're just doing research. No, they do research. They're improving treatments. They do any kind of cancer you can potentially think of, whether it's testicular cancer, colon cancer. My mom, when she was alive, she actually went for her skin treatment for skin cancer. I mean, they do. I mean, there's so many different forms of treatments in cancer and let's be honest, we all know that cancer doesn't discriminate. It attacks everyone, whether you're 5 years old or 65 years old. It affects us in so many different ways. It may not affect you personally, but it affects your friends, your family. Someone who's been affected by it in one shape or form or another. It hits us all. So if anyone out there you want to donate $5, or even if you can't afford to, if you can at least share the link, put it out in your socials, just get the word out there. I mean, that's all I can ask, to help me help Roswell Park. So help me ride for Roswell this year. And that's good. The ride is going to be taking place in June. Last year I kind of recorded some of the ride. I'm going to try and do that again this year as well. The wife and we even got ourselves some new bikes this year because I started bike riding. I rode bikes when I was a kid, but I was 500 pounds a couple years ago, and now I'm 350.
Nice.
We got down to the point where, we needed bikes that were, get us going a little bit faster than what we were. So, and anyone checks out my YouTube channel, I recently did a series of videos on buying for big people. Maybe you haven't bought a bike in a long time, or you're a large person, you're not quite sure where to start. I found on YouTube a lot of people who made videos, but these were people who were like 5'10", maybe 170 pounds. Not exactly big people. More fit. But I'm like, well, let me make a couple videos about it. So,
yeah, a few years ago,
I never
really working on my weight. I did some bike riding, and I ended up on just a friend's mountain bikey type thing, and it really wasn't good for me. But it was what I had at the time because I didn't have anybody. Like, I haven't watched that video. It is in my queue because I want to watch it, because once I lose a little bit more weight, I want to get back on my bike because I really enjoy bike riding.
Well, the style bike that I was on was actually made by a company called Electra, which is now owned by Trek, but they make a cruiser style. But what's really great about this style bike, and I highly recommend it for anyone who's a bigger person, or if you have respiratory issues. I'm an asthmatic still. Basically, the way it's designed is this cruiser style is kept you with upright posture. You're not hunched over like a lot of mountain bikers are. You're kept your airways kept nice and straight. You've got plenty of air coming into you. You're relaxed. Your arms aren't too stretched out, because some bikes, your arms are stretched out. If you're in a relaxed position, you're going to feel more comfortable. You don't feel strain on your arms, for one. Two, the Trek bike, or not the Trek bike, but the Electra, the pedals are actually pushed a little bit further ahead. So, when you get off a bike, you kind of have to get off the seat to kind of stand up.
Yeah.
No, you don't. The way this one is designed, you can literally still sit on your seat. Your feet are touching the ground, and you can stand up. I mean, you can stand up if you want to, or if you just want to, you can still be on your seat. Your legs are still touching the ground without any kind of strain. So, I mean, there's that cruiser style bike. In fact, the bike I went to is a hybrid between what they call a road bike and kind of that upright posture. They call it a hybrid. It looks like a mountain bike from a distance, but it's actually what they call a hybrid. It wasn't exactly cheap, but I spent less on that bike than I did on my first bike, believe it or not. Most bikes start out about, a lot of the bikes are at a 350 limit. If you're above 350, that means, well, I had to spend extra money on the front and rear tires so that they're reinforced for my weight. And also the gear system on the bike had to be reinforced. The rear wheel cassette had to be reinforced. It had to go with a heavier duty one. I wound up, honestly, I paid just over $1,000 after tax.
But
because
that's a bike to be able to use for quite a while.
Yeah.
I had it for about 5 years. Let me see, I bought that in 2016. So yeah, about just over 5.5 years. And I just got the new bike. The new bike, I got it for about $760 before tax. I bought some new pedals.
Well,
I mean,
in the grand scheme of things, that's not too bad. I have friends that bike ride in Seattle, and they're real serious into it.
you can spend
$3,000
on bikes.
$2,000 on a bike all the time. On a regular road bike.
Yeah.
So
And don't even get started about the electric bikes. I'm personally, if you're a commuter, I can see a person getting an electric bike because, after a while you can't pedal, 50 miles back and forth to work. You might need to, relax a little bit. So I can see those. But I see people who are on those electric bikes and they're doing maybe a 5 mile ride. Unless you have some physical issues, I personally think that's cheating. Because they tried to oh, are you interested in e-bike? I was like, nope, no thanks.
Get a scooter.
I considered it cheating. Sorry.
Yeah, get a scooter.
Yeah.
Or you see people with the gas powered motors hooked on. I'm like, seriously, just get yourself a moped. Come on.
See people with literally the little scooters, like razor scooters.
Yeah.
With a motor on them. Yeah, I've seen that too. Yeah.
What's the point of getting a scooter? What are you doing?
Exactly. But no, personally, the ride for Roswell. Now my dad passed away 2 years ago, and we found out the day he had passed. We were going through paperwork at the house trying to find medical documents because my brother was his executor. We found out that my dad had he was seeing doctors at the VA for cancer. He was keeping it from us. My mom had skin cancer. My wife, she's lost several family members to cancer. So I mean, this is something. I mean, it's a way for us to kind of like try and do whatever we can to help someone. I mean, Roswell Park, they treat a lot of children, not just local area, but across the entire country and some across the world. So I mean, they're a pretty big deal. So I mean, but doing the bike ride is, it's our way to try and give back. My wife, she literally does what she calls her pennies from heaven. She finds a coin on the ground. She picks it up. She puts it in her. She's got these little plastic piggy banks. When she's at bowling, she keeps it right on the table at bowling, and anyone's got loose change, they drop it in there. She literally raises year round for that. So, and there you go. There's the page for Roswell Park. I did one last year. I actually raised. I think it was last year. I actually raised 2,000.
So you can go over your goal, right?
Oh yeah, you can go. Yeah. You can go over your goal.
Yeah.
That's where we are right now. And there's a link, like I said, it's basically goes directly to Roswell Park. You can check out on my channels, on my recent videos. I've been putting all the Roswell Park links. If someone's interested in reading about Roswell Park, I have the links in the videos as well. Like I said, there's different paths. I'm actually doing the 30-mile route. I'm pretty sure I'm nuts doing that. With me being an asthmatic, but I just want to keep pushing myself. So
when is the ride?
That is, I'm trying to think the actual dates. It's June. I'm pulling it up right now. Of course, I have this bookmarked. The ride for Roswell this year is blanking on it right now. Just go right in. I'm just gonna log right in here. Should have had it pulled up.
Because 30 is not too bad as long as it's not super hot out. I know with being asthmatic, that can be an issue.
Well, I had some asthma issues last year.
Yeah.
Because we were doing, they did a ride I live on a place called Grand Island. It's literally a small island between Niagara Falls and Buffalo. And they had a 3 mile, a 10 mile, and a 20 mile route available there. And we live right on the island, so it was a 5-minute drive for us over there. We brought our bikes, and let's see, I'm taking a look at my 30-mile route right now. Let's see if I can pull that up. Trying to remember the exact date here because it does even say it on the website.
Dave, did you know I was born in Rochester? I mean, I grew up.
Oh, Rochester?
Yeah, I grew up going to all the rock concerts in Buffalo.
Okay.
Niagara Falls, we would go there all the time. My friends all live in St. Catharines over there, so.
I miss going over to Canada. In fact, I'm missing out on several Comic Cons because of that. Well, I'm sorry, I just don't want to pay $150 per person per test.
Oh yeah.
Go over to a Comic Con. I mean,
yeah.
No.
They have Transformer TFCon is going to be in Toronto this year.
Oh wow!
Of course, Niagara Falls Comic Con is the favorite. Shatner and a few others are going to be there. I really wanted to go. Of course, Fan Expo is that's not going to happen either this year. So I'm guessing probably going to be another couple of years before I get to go to a con, unless we drive to like PA or Ohio or something like that.
I wanted to go to this Tennessee one that everybody's going to. I mean, it looks like Joey's going. The guys from way back when are going. Like a bunch of my friends are all going.
See.
And I had press passes to go, but I actually don't think I'm going to be able to make it.
I think this year our Fan Expo is
June 25th is the ride for Roswell. So it's the end of the month.
Yeah.
Not too bad.
I'm gonna have to give my pass to somebody else. I don't think I'm gonna make it.
I love it.
Any little bit of donation will help. You know, at the moment, Dave, $1,000. That's not a lot.
I'm also trying to come up with ideas for some fundraiser streams because I definitely want to do some streams where we can try and get some people on there. Of course, I mean my channel's kind of small. I don't get that much traffic through, but I want to try and do some fundraising streams. Maybe get other people to come in so we can get the word out. Because I mean, a little bit helps.
Well, we'll of course help, Dave. I mean, you know what we've been going through in my family, so
yeah, we'll definitely help out.
Yeah,
and to top it off with what's going on with my brother, my dad just he's got skin cancer up on his nose and cheeks. Yep. So now he's got that. They think they're going to be able to cut it out though, but
my mom had skin cancer where she fell asleep in the sun as a teenager, which would have been around mid 1960s. Mm-hmm. They really didn't know anything that much back then, but she had it where it was a blending of her skin, like her nose and her cheek would kind of
that's where my dad has it right there.
So what they would do is they basically will laser it, but they would take grafts from back behind her ear, back of her neck here, and they would graft it like that. But I mean, something like that. Yes, it's treatable, but also there is a social and psychological impact to it.
Yeah,
because my mom would have to go for that every couple of years. So she is wearing a bandage, partially on her face. My nieces, when they were little, it was off-putting to them.
Yeah.
So that has a really big impact, whether you're man, woman, whatever gender or what you identify as. I mean, things like that, and having to go every couple of years or every year or every however many months for that. I mean, something like that has an effect on a person. It makes a person feel less than who they are.
Yeah.
And that's where the advancements.
This last year, just before we went to Disney World and stuff, my mom ended up with one on her head over here, and they cut it open, they closed it back up, but she was really self-conscious of it, at work and stuff. And then even, John met her at Disney. And even then, of course, she was wearing a hat because now they've told her you kind of need to wear a hat if you're going to be out in the blazing sun of Florida, let's say.
Yeah.
But even then, she kept it lower than she needed to because she was still really conscious of that bandage and what people would think of it.
Now, you guys follow American football, right?
Yeah.
Somewhat. You mean the future Super Bowl winning Denver Broncos with Russell Wilson?
Yeah, the Seattle team who gave away Russell Wilson.
I'm referring to Jim Kelly of the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You've all heard. He actually.
I just watched that documentary and what he went through.
With his jaw. Yeah. And he's still going for treatments and everything. I mean, personally, I was never a big fan of him because I've seen some of his ego in the public. But I mean, he had most of his jaw had to be completely reconstructed.
Yeah.
Because of cancer. I mean, a lot of people think, cancer, they think it's an organ or something. It can take any form, and it could spread. I knew someone who had a lung, or her husband's lung was completely removed, but it worked its way up. I mean, it's it affects everybody. So
yeah.
Well, that's like my brother's bladder cancer. There's now 3 tumors of bladder cancer in his lungs. The cancer took both his kidneys, and it took his leg. He's got his legs rebuilt with titanium and robotic parts, so that he'll be walking in about 12 weeks from now. But for next 12 weeks, he's not walking.
Yeah.
Because the cancer's in his bones. It blew up his bones, shattered it completely.
Yeah. Well, it's too bad, Mark. It looks like from what I'm seeing at the moment that the Broncos don't get the opportunity to crush the Dolphins.
It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
No. It's not crush the Dolphins. It's squish the fish.
Yeah, squish the fish.
That's what we have up here. We say squish the fish.
Yeah.
Not going to happen.
Oh, when we were growing up there, everybody was a Buffalo fan except for my brother and my friend Nofrio. They were Miami fans because they liked Dan Marino growing up.
Well,
and so it was always this whole rivalry. We were like, squish the fish, and my brother would be like, no.
I mean, Jim Kelly went to college with Marino. They were like best friends.
Yeah.
Which is funny because they wound up, being
on
opposing teams.
Yeah. And they were direct competitors for so long.
The most hated Dolphin player though of all time. You know who I'm referring to, right? Brian Cox.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah, Brian.
He flipped off the entire stadium.
Yeah,
like saying "F you" and flipping everybody off.
Yeah,
but then after the Dolphins, I guess he went to the Raiders.
Yeah, that's fitting.
Yeah,
that's generally where trash ends up. Either there or the Cowboys.
Well, yeah, my brother's really upset at this trade because he was telling me. He follows football like ridiculously, and he was saying that when you do something like this, it's sort of like rebuild the team time. Mm-hmm. And he goes, so if they're positioning themselves to get good draft picks this year and over the next couple of years.
Always work out, though, does it?
So hopefully you get. I mean, you're in good draft position to try and get good picks. Yeah. It really doesn't know. You're not guaranteed good picks. You're right.
Talk to the Bills.
But,
tell me
but
about
he said it's going to take them another 3 years or so to rebuild this team.
Exactly.
But they should have got rid of the coach at the same time, because Mark was like, if you rebuild the team over the next 3 or 4 years and then the coach retires. Now you got a new coach coming into a team he doesn't know about that he didn't build.
Yeah.
So they're like, the smart thing to do is you got rid of Russell Wilson this year, get rid of the coach also, get a new coach, new quarterback, rebuild the team together. Yeah. So the coach and the quarterback and everybody are rebuilding it together. And then 3 or 4 years down the road, you might have a contending team. But my brother's like, at this rate, it's going to be 10 years before Seattle's back in a championship.
I mean, Look at the Bills. How long have the Bills been out of it?
Well, since the 80s, right?
Yeah. Well, about 1990. But
when was that last one? Was it yeah.
So,
which, by the way, that documentary is great. It's on Netflix, and it's about their run for 4 years in a row, and the only team to ever make it to the Super Bowl 4 years in a row. So
And loaves.
even if they didn't win, that's an accomplishment that no one else has.
Yeah.
You know?
I want you to look something up when you have time. Look up a movie called, I think it was called Second Chance. It was a TNT movie way back in the 90s. It was a fictional story about the Buffalo Bills. What if the first line of players all got food poisoning? So it's called Second String. The second string players are called up and they're actually get the Bills through the playoffs so that they can actually go to the Super Bowl. It had what was his name? I'm trying to think of the one actor who was on Ally Gill something. I can't think of his name right now. He was like one of the.
They're pushing a new movie about Kurt Warner.
Yeah, that was good. That was really good. That.
Yeah.
I got to get going soon, guys.
Yeah,
I
with,
got to run. I still got to do the other half of my job today. I took a break. I did most of it in the morning, then stopped for
I'll do
this.
it for you. I'll build some Lego.
Yeah, so I got to do one more thing before I can call it a day. So
I've got my comic to read.
Well, make sure you're checking out John's channel. He's working on Elder Rings at the moment. We also Star Wars randomly. Mark is wandering around Red Dead Redemption
stores.
1.
Yeah.
Which
I got a bunch of G.I. Joe and Starcom videos to do this weekend. So we'll be having
videos. Dave's got stuff going on. Make sure you go drop some cash over there. And of course, I've got the Sunday is Rum's Lego build. I'll be over there building, I think, a Potter piece and a couple Star Wars things before I start that big Boba Fett throne room piece.
I might try and swing by his room.
We'll be on Monkey Lizard Plays tomorrow. Whatever game those guys are playing in the morning on Saturdays, I usually like to join in with my brother and Salacious Rum and whoever else. So
then there'll usually be you and Tunnel Rat and Sonny and
I'm getting an Oscar Goldman sent by the guitarist of Echo and the Bunnymen.
Oh, nice.
I thought you meant the real Oscar Goldman from the $6 Million Man.
Yeah. Why did you get that? Why are they sending? Do you like that band? Do you like that band or?
He's a fan of me, man. He's listened to me since my podcast days.
Oh yeah.
And it's just a thank you for my podcast. I mean,
cool.
a load of $6 Million Man stuff. He says for my pod, for my $6 Million Man pod.
Yeah.
Oscar Goldman, and a surprise. He says so.
Did you know?
Stay tuned for that.
I sent some stuff off to the actor Richard Anderson to sign, who played Oscar Goldman. Did you know he lived four doors down from the Tate killings?
No.
When I got his stuff back and had his address on it, I was like, wait a minute, I know this address. And so I pulled it up, and sure enough, he's 3 houses down from where the Manson murders was.
Huh.
And I wrote him back another letter, and I said, well, were you living there at the time? He said, no, we moved in 2 months after. That they'd already put money down on the house, but hadn't moved there yet. And it was pretty cool. Hey, Mark, where'd this come from? I haven't asked Rick yet. Rick sent this to me.
Oh, that's the Infinity's toys.
Oh,
Infinity's game.
Cool.
The game.
Yeah. Oh, gotcha. I thought it looked familiar, but I couldn't place where I've seen it before.
Yeah.
I love it.
I got that one too. Yeah.
He's very cute.
Yeah, I've still got boxes of those.
Yeah.
His lightsaber broke, so I got to get a glue gun and fix that. Anyway, thanks everybody for coming and hanging out with us.
You don't have to end. I was just saying I'm gonna go. You don't have to end.
No, I gotta do stuff for my mom. She actually ended up breaking several of her ribs.
Oh wow.
So I got to go to the store and do some stuff for her. But
she feels better soon.
Yeah, she's getting better, but there's nothing they can do for ribs. So except
no, you just gotta sit and wait. I broke mine twice. I've broken ribs twice.
You don't have to tell me about ribs. My wife, after her weight loss, there's extra tissue and it's pulling on. It's basically tugging on her ribs, and they won't do the skin reduction surgery until we get to a certain a certain point, because they don't like to do it right away, because if you're still losing weight,
Yeah.
they don't want to have to keep going back in, going back in. So
Yeah.
she's literally like, even if she drinks water, she's in intense discomfort right now. So it's like she's doing pain patches, like the icy hot kind of style patches, and also there's been
I love
alternative
icy hot. Those
CBD
patches.
ointment for
That's
for
what's
that.
really helped Mom with hers.
Yeah, I mean
That
it can be expensive as hell, unfortunately, but it's what she has to do. It hurts her when she's bike riding, so half the time she can't necessarily bike ride. I mean, we don't even know if she'll be able to do her ride this year. I told her with how she wanted to do the 20 mile this year. I said, no. I said, if you're doing anything, you're doing the 3 or the 10, because I don't want her doing more damage to her.
No.
Yeah.
That's the thing. After we had our gastric bypasses, she had to go back in 2 weeks right after, because she was already developing scar tissue in the digestive tract, and that was tugging.
Wow.
She's had tons of issues with it, and unfortunately, I'm the bane of her existence. I haven't had one damn issue yet. In fact, I got to drop my blood pressure, my cholesterol. I mean, all my diabetic meds. I dropped everything except my inhalers.
Wow.
And now I take multivitamins now.
Nice.
So the only thing I have to do is work on. Got to switch over to a multivitamin that's higher in iron. I have low iron. But also here, not much sunlight. I'm sure, Chris, you can sympathize with that.
Yeah.
Vitamin D.
Oh, believe me, even living in Florida, I got to take vitamin D. I have these massive vitamin D pills that are prescription strength vitamin D. And they told me, they said that whole thing with the sun, you'd have to sit out in the sun for a week to get what you need in a day. So that doesn't really work. So, because I was like, what do you mean I have vitamin D? I live in Florida. How can I be vitamin D deficient? And they were like, nope, that's not true. Yeah. That's not going to help.
Everywhere is vitamin D. I mean,
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, enjoy your day. Thanks for coming in. If anybody does want to watch that, whatever that Adam movie is, we can talk about it next Friday. It'd be great.
Yeah, we can do that.
Go watch Picard.
Coming. Huh?
Go watch Picard.
Well, I will. He doesn't have to. I will. Don't get us going on that again.
For HBO, or that's why I'm not going to watch Peacemaker, and I'm not going to pay for Paramount in order to get Star Trek.
Yeah.
I already own all the Star Trek I want to watch.
Have you started watching Peacemaker?
No, I can't because I don't have HBO.
Oh, okay.
Now it's going to be shown on ITV over in England. So there's a slim chance I might be able to see it once it gets over there. But yeah, if they put it on DVD, I'll watch it.
Yeah. It's definitely worth a watch.
It's good. I liked it. Yeah.
I don't have any interest in watching Discovery, but I own the first 2 seasons on DVD.
Yeah. Left Coast Graphics and the Dudes Nerdery and I were doing a watch, like, reaction views on Peacemaker. So it's definitely, I mean, it's a funny show. You don't have to have seen Suicide Squad. You don't need to know anything about the character. But it's James Gunn, and I mean, that's all I have to say. It's James Gunn.
It looks
it's an awesome
good,
show. John Cena will blow you away.
Yeah.
John Cena,
to see what happens with
good acting in that.
Once Discovery buys it, and if they're going to strip everything off of it, or if they leave it.
I'm not a fan of this from the Discovery Channel.
Over to there.
Yeah,
but because Discovery's got their own
Discovery Plus
Plus thing.
If they buy it, if they do buy it, it'll eventually all merge. Of course, it's just like the Hulu Disney thing when Disney bought Hulu
Disney and ESPN. Yeah,
they had to stay its own entity. But 5 years from now, when that clause in the contract is up, Hulu's going to get merged into Disney Plus. It's only for kind
of already is
years that they have to keep them separate.
I have the bundle that I pay.
Yeah,
so I get Hulu and Disney Plus and ESPN Plus. Even though I hardly watch ESPN Plus, but
no, we don't either. Yeah, but
I had signed up for the bundles. That way, my wife, she watches a lot of Hulu.
Yeah,
I got to go find out what happened to mine because I have the bundle too, and all of a sudden I've lost my Hulu.
That happened to us. We had to call and get it straightened out. You're right. Because what happened with us was we bought we're in D23, the Disney group,
Uh-huh.
and they offered us that package deal for like a 3-year contract for like $1.99 a month. So we got Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN for like $2 a month. And we signed up for that deal as being part of D23, being in the club. And after about a year, whatever this year, Hulu dropped and ESPN dropped, and we had to call and like tell them that we were a part of the bundle, we were part of the deal, and they had to reinsert everything. But
that's what happened.
That sounded painful.
Yeah, it was a nightmare, and the first time they set it up, they wanted to charge us more money, and we were like, "No, we paid for the deal." You know?
I don't want to have Disney inserting things.
So
Mark got that one.
But we finally got it worked out. But it's like, yeah,
I'm altering the deal. Pray I don't alter it further.
yeah, that's how it works. You know, like you sign a contract, and I'm like, a contract goes both ways.
I've
buddy,
canceled my Disney Plus.
But the company always has the right to change the contract and alter the deal. You're like, what's going on here?
It's gone from £50 to £80 a month.
What is?
Everything is like Netflix is going up too again, I think.
Yeah, Netflix is going up to $20, I think.
That's $100.
Yeah.
They want you to pay $100 a month for Disney Plus?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's nothing.
Yeah.
It is for me. So I've cancelled it. Bye.
Yeah, I'm actually wondering if that's what's going to happen with Netflix. It's going to have to cancel it and only buy 1 month.
Amazon, Netflix, Disney Plus. I just can't afford them all.
Yeah.
What I'm thinking
about, a lot of them.
But I need to figure out if I save more money from shipping per year, because my mom orders a lot, and I think between the two of us, I think we'd spend more money shipping.
Oh yeah,
we would.
My dad would definitely. Yeah.
See that's one fear I have is the company I work for, which I will not name. I work for a cable company, and if I were ever to leave, I'll be paying for internet, and if I want any kind of channels, I'll be paying for all of that out of pocket. So if I ever wanted to leave, it's like, well, I'm getting monthly internet, which is included. I'm the TV services, which then expand onto HBO Max and all that stuff I have included. Well, if I ever decided to leave, say goodbye to all that and spending more money for internet and everything else, I hear people talk about, oh, you can cut the cord, you can do this. You know, it adds up.
Yeah.
You might not be paying this bill anymore, but you'll be paying this bill, this bill, this bill, this bill, and this bill.
Exactly.
So,
well, I will tell you this: we cut our cable bill was over $200 between internet and cable TV. Mm-hmm. We cut the cord a few years back, and we only do the streaming services. And we have Netflix, HBO, Paramount Plus, Hulu, Disney Plus, and we're still spending less per month than we were when we had cable TV.
Yeah,
we have fiber 1 gig internet now for less than that. I mean, it's
where I live. They don't offer fiber right now. So.
Yeah, it's way cheaper, but at the same time, some of my channels like Paramount, I only get for 1 or 2 months a year. Watch all the Star Trek and stuff, and then cancel. And I'm thinking of doing that with Netflix now that it's gone to $20. I'm going to cancel Netflix as an every month thing, and 2 or 3 months out of the year, I'm just going to order it
and binge the hell out of it.
Watch everything, and then cancel it, and then the next 2 months I'll get like Paramount Plus, binge all those shows, cancel that, and then you know what I mean. So you're not paying for a whole year for any one streaming service, you know.
Well, with Amazon, you can kind of like what I sometimes do is for a couple months, if I know there's some shows coming up that my wife wants to watch on Paramount, or if there's something I want to watch, I will add it on, and then I might drop it off my Amazon Prime because I'm only paying I think an extra, was it $5 or something a month? I'm not paying for the commercial free. I'll deal with commercials.
Yeah,
do that, you know. So
yeah, we grew up with commercials. But anyway, later guys, and see y'all later. Catch you on the flip side.